It's the bats that have been the big topic of conversation with the Mets over the last 24 hours or so. General Manager Sandy Alderson felt it was time for a change, and so a new hitting instructor, Lamar Johnson, takes over the reins today. Still plenty of time to make friends as you get ready to hit, as the Mets look for better times ahead. At Citi Field in New York, Pix 11 Sports presents New York Mets baseball tonight. The Mets play the Pittsburgh Pirates. And a pleasant good evening, everybody, and welcome to Citi Field. Gary Cohen, Ron Darling with you tonight as the Mets play the middle game of their series with the Pirates. After yesterday's Mets loss, the Mets decided to fire hitting coach Dave Hudgens, replace him with longtime organizational hitting coach Lamar Johnson. The diminishing returns over the last 4 years were just too stark. It wasn't just this year. You look at what the Mets have done over the last 4 years. Less and less offense. OPS is on-base plus slugging, a basic measure of offensive potency, runs per game. And the Mets have been going down over the last several seasons under the tutelage of Dave Hudgens. And so Lamar Johnson takes over the reins as the Mets hitting coach. And the question is, first of all, was this a change that needed to be made, and why was it made now? Well,
I think it was a change that needed to be made. As you saw from the numbers, just something, a jolt of some kind of electricity, I think, was needed for this ball club. Why was it made now? Well, this is a team that in the spring training aspires to be a 90-win team, and certainly having the May that they're having, they've got to get something going. And I think, you know, Lamar Johnson is not going to be preaching a lot of different philosophy than what's been going on, but sometimes a new voice can make it sink in more.
And, of course, for the players, anytime there's a coach fired, there's got to be some sense of responsibility on their part.
It's just an awful feeling. You feel responsible. You feel a little embarrassed that you haven't performed at a certain level to keep them around. Remember, there's a lot of private moments that Dave Hudgens has had with every single hitter, whether it's in the cage, whether it's on the plane, whether it's at a road city having lunch or dinner and talking about hitting and how to get better. So those times now have gone by, and I think as a player, I was there, you feel very responsible for someone losing their job.
And sometimes teams get a boost when they have a change like this. Now, the one thing that's gone spectacularly right for the Mets this year has been their starting pitcher, and John Neese has been right in the middle of that.
You know, it was one of his best games, his last start. He gave up 3 runs, but it was beautiful 7 crisp innings of work with Neese. He even added a RBI hit. And I think Neese, whenever you have these moments where things change, sometimes that starting pitching can change everything from the start of the game. John's looking to do that.
For the Pirates, their starting pitching has been a big concern this year. Edison Volquez finally had his first good start of the year last time out.
You know, he's the guy that came up with so much promise, won 17 games in Cincinnati many years ago, played with San Diego and Los Angeles, now trying to find himself with a team that went to the playoffs last year.
So it's the Mets and the Pirates on a muggy night in New York. Mets trying to get even in this series. All the action coming your way tonight right here on Pix 11. Honda dealer. Hurry into your local Honda dealer for great deals on the 2014 models. By Boar's Head Premium Deli Meats and Cheeses. By McDonald's this summer, come in for the kid-approved $2.99 Happy Meal offer valid at participating McDonald's. By Nissan, get to your local Nissan store for the ride of your life plus bonus cash. Shop ChooseNissan.com. By Time Warner Cable, more shows on more screens. Time Warner Cable, enjoy better. And by Toyota's #1 for everyone sales event going on now. Toyota, let's go places. Get to Citi Field for Father's Day, Sunday, June 15th, when the Mets take on the Padres at 1:10. All dads in attendance and kids 12 and under will receive a Mets cap courtesy of Nathan's. And stop by for Nathan's famous hot dog eating contest on Mets Plaza pregame. For tickets, visit Mets.com/family Sundays. Keys to the game brought to you by your Tri-State Kia retailers. I detect a pirate theme.
Listen, there's no need to raise the Jolly Roger the next 2 days. David's having a beautiful month of May. Jonathan Neese, 8 runs allowed. May 11th, that's forgotten. He pitched great his last few starts. And Ike Davis and Pedro Alvarez, not in the starting lineup. Of course, the left-handed Neese. They have their right-handed supplements.
And that worked well for them last night as Gabby Sanchez came off the bench with 2 huge hits. There's Lamar Johnson, the man of the hour, Mets' new hitting coach. Mets will try and get some offense generated tonight for John Neese. First pitch coming right up from Citi Field. Time Warner Cable, enjoy better. John Neese getting ready to make the start tonight, his 10th of the year. Toyota starting lineup for the Pirates, a little different look with a left-hander on the mound. Colin Hurdle goes to an all right-hand batting lineup. Josh Harrison, who played right field yesterday, will play third base today. Starts for Clint Barmas and Jose Tabata, both of whom came off the bench yesterday. Starting lineup brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places.
Jonathan Neese this evening pitching for the Mets. He's got a 3-3 record. That fine ERA is 8-8. He was 8-8 last year in 2013, and 46 wins and 43 down with a 3.89 ERA in his career. Defense behind Jonathan today is brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Granderson in the left, Lagares. Bobby Abreu has been playing well. He's got to play every day. David Wright, Tejada's in shortstop now. Flores, Murphy, and Lucas Duda at first base. And Anthony Recker. Should be with a W-R-E-C-K-E-R.
Well, that is 50 Cent. Curtis Jackson?
Curtis Jackson.
And his first pitch was not great. Just a bit outside. What can you say? Think he opened up a little early?
Yeah.
Look at that front shoulder.
It's good. He never had a choice between playing for the Mets or being a rapper. So he's loved here in Queens, I'll tell you. June 14th, I believe he's having his event.
By the way, anybody in a Mets jersey with Jackson on the back,
yeah.
who do you think of?
Al Jackson.
Lefty, right?
Al Jackson. Al never threw a pitch like that, I'll tell you.
No. Al, who pitched for the Mets in their inaugural season 52 years ago, still going strong as a valued instructor in the Mets organization. Josh Harrison will lead things off for the Pirates, who suddenly have gotten on a roll. They've won 5 of 6 to get within hailing distance of 500. 23 and 27 on the year. Harrison 0 for 5 yesterday. Neese with the first pitch of the night, and it's in for a call strike, and we're underway. Harrison's become more of a full-time player just lately. His 17th start of the year, his 4th at third base. Standing about as far away from home plate as any hitter you'll see this year.
You know, it reminds me a little bit of George Hendrick in the day. There was a time when players stood way away and dove into the plate. That's what Harrison does.
In the center field, and Lagares had it played perfectly right in the middle of the Mets logo for the first out of the night. I remember when Dae-Sung Koo came to the plate for the first time. Remember the Korean pitcher who ended up getting the double off Randy Johnson, but the previous week he had his first at bat, and his heels were almost outside the batter's box. He was that far away. That's what Harrison reminded me of. Here's Jose Tabata. Had an RBI single off the bench yesterday, and the Pirates rally late in the game. That's at a 2-0 lead going to the 8th. That dissipated as Pittsburgh put up 2 in the 8th and 3 in the 9th to come from behind and win. Slow tapper foul, and it resulted in the release of Jose Valverde, who absorbed most of that punishment. Vic Black has rejoined the team and is available tonight.
There's the MVP, reigning MVP, Andrew McCutchen.
Terry Collins was asked how he'd use Vic Black. He said, often.
Great answer.
That's bullpen has been a little heavily used of late. Jerry's Familia's worked 3 times in the last 2 days. The curveball from Neese bounced foul.
You know, Gary, it's an important time for both Harrison and Tabata to show what they can do, because they have a young man named Gregory Polanco who's going to be up here and playing right field every day for the Pirates. Going to give them the most athletic outfield in the big leagues. And Harrison and Tabata, one of those guys will stay.
Right. Well, Harrison's much more versatile. Yes. He can play just about anywhere for you, and Clint Hurdle's used him everywhere.
But Tabata's making iron.
Right. So, well, Tabata's in his 5th year with the Pirates. He's a lifetime 274 hitter. So he's already shown he can hit at this level. Harrison has been more of a utility guy. So that'll be an interesting call for the Pirates. That's probably about 2 weeks away once the Super 2 deadline is come and gone. Bouncing ball for Tejada, who comes in to play the easy hop and throws out Tabata 2 away. So Neese set down the first 2.
I spent Memorial Day with my friends, and they I apologize. Tabata makes a lot of money. I said Tabata makes iron. He makes a lot of money. That's why it'll be a difficult choice.
We all understood.
Oh, he did? Okay. Because that's
baseball term?
Yeah, the baseball term.
Here's Andrew McCutchen. He was on base 4 times yesterday. 2 hits, 2 walks. Hitting at .309 for the year. Slams one to deep right center field. Racing back Lagares near the wall, and he makes the catch right up against the fence. Lagares knew exactly how much room he had, used the entire ballpark right up to the orange line, and takes an extra base hit away from McCutchen to end the top of the first. Just another day at the office for that guy with the Golden Glove in center field. Lineup brought to you by Toyota. Let's go places. Third straight start for Bobby Abreu, who's been swinging the bat as well as any Met over this last week. Otherwise, the same unit out there. Ruben Tejada gets a start at shortstop as the Mets face one of their favorite whipping boys over the year, Edison Volquez.
You know, I was talking about in the pregame that he had a great start to his career, but it's really stalled. 55 and 56 in his career. Last year he played for both the Padres and the Dodgers.
Well, Juan Lagares taking an extra base hit away from Andrew McCutchen. What did McCutchen think of it?
Well, I think he covered it. I think as soon as he hit it, he thought he had a round tripper. And he can't believe that this ball is caught by Lagares. And in fact, just like a good golfer, he wanted to make sure he was right. Checks the grass. Where's the wind blowing? I mean, come on, I covered that ball.
And maybe he figures he can play a little more shallow now. Well, here's Lagares to see if McCutchen's able to return the favor. Just the normal noises.
You could, if you're a Mets starting pitcher, you're going to have a lifetime of giving him high fives.
I mean, between the fact that this ballpark plays so big gap to gap and you got that guy out there, talk about using the big part of the ballpark.
I'm just amazed by his sense of physical awareness.
Harrison ranging wide and throws out Lagares.
Where he is on the field. You know, when he makes these catches, most of the time guys who make catches, deep catches, I'm going to use someone I'm sure will shoot me for this. Mike Trout, for an example, plays very deep. He makes a lot of catches up against the fence, makes them look easy. But Lagares plays pretty shallow and goes a long way. But once he hears that, the dirt underneath his cleats, he just has a great sense of how much room he has left.
It's also smooth, and for a guy who hasn't been playing the outfield his whole life, it's really incredible.
Yeah, he's a ball player.
Here's Daniel Murphy, 1 for 4 yesterday, drove in a run, and the only Met RBI until the 9th inning. It was on his base hit that the Mets got a second run. Benefit of the new home plate collision rule. Murphy 309 for the year, and he hits it out to left center. Pretty deep in the gap. McCutchen onto the warning track and comes together with Marte, and it goes off McCutchen's glove. And Murphy pulls into second base. Now it's the center fielder's ball all the way, but Marte apparently didn't hear McCutchen calling. And they're going to call that an error on McCutchen, although that should go the other way.
Well, Marte can laugh that off, but this has kind of been the problem for the Pittsburgh Pirates so far this year. Everything went right last year. Everything seemingly going wrong this year. Marte doesn't hear. The de facto captain and MVP call for that. McCutchen kind of pulled up a little short instead of making that catch. And it's been a comedy of errors at times for this team that was, I thought, the greatest story of 2013.
40th error of the year for the Pirates. Compare that to the Mets that made 29 this year. So a runner in scoring position for Wright. David had a 9-game hitting streak stopped yesterday, went 0 for 4. You see the breeze riffling the jersey of the pitcher Volquez. It's starting to blow. There are thunderstorms on their way in. A big change of weather coming. It's supposed to be 20 degrees cooler tomorrow.
I think it's me. So if you need someone to blame, I've got big shoulders. I'll take it.
You're the rainmaker?
I'll take it. I'll take it.
I don't know. I'm here every day. Every time it rains. All right. With 64 hits on the year, and Who's Hot brought to you by JetBlue. You above all this month. One behind Yasiel Puig for the league lead.
I mean, folks, just kind of round it off. You get 40 hits in a month. That's 240 for the year. I mean, that's smoking. That's Ichiro territory at his finest.
One for Volquez, and David hits it right side. Retreating as Walker to get it. And there are 2 out. Murphy goes to third.
Let's look at the defense for the Pittsburgh Pirates behind Edison Volquez. Brought to you by Geico. 15 minutes, 15%. You got it. McCutchen stranded by Marte and Tejada at great speed in that outfield. Harrison playing third base. Talked about his versatility. Barnes, Walker, and Sanchez. And Russell Martin, who I think is one of the finest framer of pitches in the game.
So here's Granderson trying to get a run hit home with 2 out. It's been such an area of concern for the Mets all year, hitting 192 as a team with 2 outs and runners in scoring position. Volquez works the inside corner, and we've seen more pitchers doing this recently with Granderson, working him inside.
Well, they're setting him up for 2 things. One, that power fastball up and away, and that slider that starts where the fastball is and ends up in the dirt, down and in.
Lamar Johnson taking notes. Lamar's worked with a lot of players in the Mets organization. He's with them in spring training, but with some of the veteran guys, he's got to learn up on what their tendencies are.
I think it'll be, like you said, a lot of watching first and then evaluating for Lamar.
Murphy at third and 2 out. Granderson swings and misses.
It's the hardest I've seen Volquez throw in probably the last half dozen times I've watched him. This is a changeup here, and a good one. So fastball in, fastball up, changeup down.
Lamar Johnson had an awfully good major league career. 9 years, 300 seasons, mostly with the White Sox. Murphy wandering down the line at third as Granderson takes the changeup in the dirt. 2-2. For Lamar Johnson, this is his 4th stop as a hitting coach. He's worked in Seattle, Kansas City, Milwaukee. That's his playing career. He, what you can't see in that picture, the shorts.
That's right. He was during that time.
So great picture of today wearing the shorts. Only the White Sox. See Murphy edging down the line with the third baseman off the line, and the curveball foul tipped and held by Martin. Granderson is retired to end the inning, so the Mets get a break but can't cash it in. Daniel Murphy's fly ball buffed by McCutchen and Marte, but the Mets leave Murphy stranded. No score after 1 at Citi Field. The miscommunication between McCutchen and Marte, but McCutchen had a lot to say when he got back to the dugout.
Well, it's interesting that Marte's not there. He could really use him over there, as Andrew McCutchen's trying to explain that he was yelling, but he said Marte couldn't hear him. Well, that's how it seems like he's saying. You know, when a guy makes an error, he wants to explain to everyone. I mean, I know they gave it to me, but it's not really my fault.
No, it wasn't.
Exactly.
Clearly should not have been his error. Well, Gabby Sanchez had a huge impact on the game yesterday, and why should that surprise any Met fan? He's been doing that against the Mets his entire career. Curveball from Neese misses, and it's 2-0. Gabby came off the bench, pinch hit for Ike Davis in the 8th, had a home run off Scott Rice, then had an RBI hit in the 9th off Valverde. Russell Martin on deck, then Starling Marte.
I think Gabby played his first game in the major leagues here at Citi Field, and well, he's found the Mets to his liking.
Those production numbers: 9 homers, 34 RBIs, and 176 at bats. Project that over a full season. That's 110 RBIs, 30 home runs.
John with the 2-1 changeup, a rare pitch from John, but he's been using it a little more as he's gone along in this 2014 season.
Behind on Sanchez, 3-1, and he misses, ball 4. So the Pirates have their first base runner of the night. John was tremendous his last start.
Yeah.
The lead against the Dodgers, gave up that home run to Justin Turner, which really deflated his night at the top of the 7th to tie it, but then the Mets got him a run in the bottom of the 7th, and he wound up with a win.
Well, it's all washed away because the Mets scored the run. I know he was dejected. In fact, after the game, he had a funny comment. He said Turner should be happy for that gift he got.
Here's Russell Martin. Not a bunt. Don't think that was intended to be a sacrifice. He was trying to push that bunt down toward Duda.
Defenses, of course, up the middle, double play depth. David's back a little off the line, which doesn't, I shouldn't say surprises me, but I think Jonathan East, with all the cutters he throws inside, there's an apt for a hitter to pull one down a line.
Martin pounds one foul. Now, here's an interesting piece of minutia. The Pirates are playing their 51st game today. This is only the 5th time in 51 games they faced a left-handed starting pitcher.
That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
And I think they're 3-1, right? 3-0 on the road. So,
but I mean, Martin's had 5 at-bats against lefties this year. Now he's out for a month, but 5 out of his 72 at-bats have been against lefties. So that's why Ike Davis is on the bench tonight. He's kind of shoving that curveball up there.
Well, I'm trying to think. St. Louis, other than Jaime Garcia, who just came back, all righties. Cingrani for the Reds, other than that, they're all righties. So Cubs a lot of right-handers other than Travis Wood. Still, though, it's an unusual number.
Figure you run into one now and again. Mets have faced 11 lefty starters, and that doesn't seem like much. 2-2 now to Martin. And he misses outside. Neese walked the leadoff hitter here in the second, and his walk numbers have been very good this year.
Yeah.
Under 2.5 walks per 9 innings. But Met pitchers have walked more batters than any staff in the league, which is kind of troubling, despite the success that they've had.
Well, a lot of it has been in the bullpen too, as well as the starting pitchers.
Sanchez runs and Martin bounces it foul.
Dice Case had an amazing season, but if you looked at his only Achilles heel, it's his walks.
Familia had a big problem with walks early in the year.
Not so much lately, though, huh? Familia's been good.
Well, it's one of the reasons that Familia's moving up in the food chain. Henry Mejia is still not an everyday closer, still trying to work up to that. And now with Valverde gone, Familia and Vic Black will be the other guys Terry will consider for save opportunities if Mejia is not available. Henry is available today after he didn't pitch yesterday. Sanchez was running on the first 3-2 pitch. He's running again. Martin just got a piece and then kicks it away.
Well, it would be apropos from a guy from Montreal, right, to kick it away.
I say it looked like Lundqvist. Getting out of trouble, out of the crease.
Well, the Rangers are hoping that the Montreal goalie can't control his rebounds, just like Martin couldn't there. Russell Martin has had an unusual career. When he first came up with the Dodgers, you really saw him as a offensive and defensive wizard. He was going to be one of those players. And then he's gone backwards on his hitting, but his defense has gotten better and better, I think, every season.
8th pitch of the at-bat, but first Neese will check in on Sanchez. Sanchez is very slow. If Martin strikes out, it's almost an automatic strike him out, throw him out, especially the way Recker's been throwing. Nobody steals bases on Neese anyway. 3-2, he runs, and Martin drills it to left. In comes Granderson to grab it, not trying to get back is Sanchez, and Granderson's throw doubles him up. Perfect throw from Curtis Granderson to double up Sanchez for the double play.
Well, one, good hitting by Martin right on the nose, and even better play by Grandy, who put a lot on this throw. You know, this is another mistake in two innings by the Pirates. When you're running and the hitter is hitting on a 3-2 count, you're running under control, and you're watching where the ball goes. As soon as you see it's a line drive, you've got to freeze and come back. And Sanchez did not get there in time.
But isn't that part of the problem with running a slow guy on 3-2, that he's so focused on getting to second because he's not fast?
But what he should do is, if you're really slow and there's a left-hander on the mound, you're not going to steal it anyway. So just do it under control. There's no reason to think that if you get a better jump, is somehow you're going to steal it. If you do, it's probably because of a bad throw.
Starling Marte, the batter, 1 for 4 yesterday.
And I think coupled with Grandy, Curtis Granderson has gotten the reputation as a guy who doesn't throw very well, but coming in on that ball, all the momentum, made a perfect throw.
4th outfield assist for Curtis. Little comebacker for Nice. And he takes care of Marte to retire the side. So a leadoff walk, but a line drive double play gets Nice through the second. No score. Kia retailers. Visit kia.com to learn more. Home second inning. Bobby Abreu will lead off against Edinson Volquez. Abreu making his 3rd straight start. Had a couple of hits yesterday. His 2nd straight 2-hit game, so he earns another start today. And for all the question about how the Mets were going to deploy their outfielders with 4 guys for 3 spots, it's the 5th guy.
They added a guy.
And the 6th guy, Abreu and Campbell, who stood out on this homestand.
Well, how would you pitch Bobby Abreu, even at his advanced age? First pitch, you got to throw a strike down the middle. It's usually taken almost all of the time.
Well, they've got the full shift on against Abreu, and you know, he's not a home run hitter at this point in his career. He should take full advantage of that.
If he gets a fastball away, he has the ability and the maneuverability of his bat to hit it the other way. In fact, Bobby's so adept. He's a guy that could take a pitch middle plate in and hit it the other way if he wanted to. In his heyday, there would be no shifts for Bobby Abreu.
No. He's a whole field hitter, and he's already shown that during his brief tenure here. Volquez throwing very hard in the early going. This is a guy who this year has averaged 92.4 on his fastball, and he's already hit 96 today early in the game.
I'm going to have to ask someone, Gary, 3-0 here, Bobby probably taking, is if they sift through all the at-bats that he has had, and that's how they come to the shift. Because he's certainly not the same hitter he was throughout most of those at-bats.
Well, you would certainly think that when you are concocting your shifts, you would use the most recent available information as long as you have enough of a sample size.
It's not that big of a sample size.
Right. 3-1 for Volquez, and that's ball 4, and the Mets have a leadoff base runner. So Gray, who's drawn more walks than any active player in the majors, picks up another. And the Mets get the leadoff man on for Lucas Duda. Lucas hit his 6th home run of the year yesterday in the 9th inning.
Hit it off Melanson. It's been a long time since Melanson had given up a home run.
And well, more than a year.
Yeah.
And it was a first pitch home run for Duda, which gives him 2 first pitch home runs this year, 1 more than he had all of last year.
Wow.
He's been a little more aggressive earlier in the count.
And Volquez counters with a first pitch changeup. That's a ball. That's a ball.
Word gets around quickly.
Yeah.
Well, when he swings at the first pitch, he's been very successful.
Harrison is the shortstop. Barmes is on the first base side of second base, and right in the hole is the second baseman, Neil Walker.
Well, that almost numbed its way into being a base hit. With Harrison playing so far off the line.
See, a lot of times, see what Lucas is doing there. He's feeling for that cup at the end of the bat. You want to make sure that it's not chipped. Seems to be intact. See, he's taking a look at it.
That cup started coming into vogue in the 70s. It started in Japan. Just a little less weight in the bat with the same kind of heft. I remember the first players who used the cupped out end of the bat.
Do what?
The cupped end of the bat. That's a relatively recent phenomenon.
It is
70s, 80s, somewhere.
It is, and it's supposed to like compress, all right, the real good hitting part of the bat.
Well, you're also taking weight out of the bat without taking anything out of the sweet spot. A little number past the mound. It hits the mound. Harrison with the flip to Barmes, and he gets knocked and loses the ball, but they say it was on the transfer. And this is where that rule has been amended as the year has gone along.
Well, I really think this was the transfer. He gets that inside the glove. And again, you have players out of position. Harrison, third baseman, playing short, shovels it over to Barmes, who catches the ball in the leather.
If that play was made in April, that would have been safe.
That's right.
Because he did not take the ball out of his glove cleanly, and that's something they had to amend about 6 weeks into the season.
They told you it was ever changing, Gary.
So that is a 5-6 fielder's choice. Duda now at first with 1 out. And Anthony Recker, the batter. Recker making his 17th start. His last one came in game 2 on Sunday. He went 4 for 4, the first 4-hit game of Anthony's career. Another 96-mile-an-hour fastball from Volquez.
Almost like he's found the fountain of youth. I've never seen him throw this hard and with this much purpose. I always felt that Edinson was a guy that was, I hate to say this, but wasting his talent. I always thought he was such a talented guy that he just didn't have, just wasn't paying attention enough.
Well, he and Johnny Cueto came up pretty much together with the Reds, and there was a lot of question when they first arrived as to who was going to be the better pitcher. Because Volquez had that great first full season. He was 17-6, 3.21. That was in 2008. But since that 2008 season, his ERA is 4.89. So he's just been very, very inconsistent.
Last fastball, 97.
Now, he pitched his best game of the season by far his last time out. 6 strong innings against the Nats. Allowed just a run on 3 hits and a 3-1 win. But his strikeouts are way down this year. He hasn't struck out more than 4 in any start.
Well, the starting pitching for the Pirates has probably been the opposite for the Mets. It's been really their weakness so far here into late May.
They've had 7 wins from their starters in the first 50 games of the year.
Mark Burley has 8.
It's nuts. Recker pulling off 1-2.
Well, after all the fastballs, a good breaking pitch here from Volquez. Not many people are going to hit that pitch. on the corner, below the knees. Perfect pitch by Edinson.
Tejada at first and 1 out. 1-2 to Record. On the outside corner, he got him looking at a 98-mile-an-hour fastball. That is the hardest pitch that Edinson Volquez has thrown this season.
So he threw him a razor blade on the outside corner, and then threw a fastball that started outside and came back over the outside corner of the plate, splitting the glove of Russell Martin. I mean, I don't think you can get a better two-pitch sequence than Volquez showed right there.
So 2 out. Duda's still at first, and now Ruben Tejada. Well, our Dave Freed has done a little research. Says the first guy to use the cupped bat was Lou Brock, who got it when he went to Japan.
Wow.
And got one of Sadaharu O's bats, because they used it in Japan long before they used it here. And Brock was the innovator as far as bringing that to the States.
Very nice. I didn't even notice Dave was here. Where'd it go, Dave?
Just another reason for Keith to brag on Brock.
That's right,
because he doesn't do that very often.
I'm trying to think. I think Keith's bat was cupped at the end, if I remember correctly.
Oh, we got it from Brock.
Yeah.
Ruben at 195 for the year. He's lost more and more playing time to Wilmer Flores. So Flores' bat has gone cold over the last few days. And so Tejada back in there today. Volquez behind the number 8 hitter, 2-0. And now 3-0.
These are the moments that Volquez will have throughout his career that are puzzling at times. You know, he has that sequence against Record that no one could hit, and you can see his fastball velocity is up over 2 miles an hour tonight.
That's a lot.
I know, unbelievable. And then he'll go 3-0 on the next hitter, the 8th place hitter.
There's a strike. Yeah, he's puzzled.
It's a shame because, you know, he could really be in the same class as his buddy Johnny Cueto.
Volquez now 30 years old. He's been well traveled since his Reds days. Last year pitched in San Diego and LA.
His pitcher coach Ray Search.
Here's ball 4. That'll clear the pitcher's spot. 2 walks in the inning for Volquez, who had not been walking people. Only 15 walks in 56 innings coming into the night. So now Nice, who picked up his first hit of the season in his last start, and it was a double.
This was always a dilemma for a pitcher, Gary, when he came up the bat. You have 2 guys on, you want to get a hit, drive someone in, but he just walked the previous hitter, and none of them were really near the strike zone other than the 1 strike. What do you do as a pitcher? Do you take or do you hit away?
Hit.
Yes, you hit, because you're not good enough to wait for a couple of strikes.
And you figure he knows he's got a pitcher at the plate. He's going to throw the ball down the middle.
There you go.
Nice was ready to take a rip.
He's always got a good swing, John. He's got great hand-eye coordination. I know. I think he was an all-state soccer player. Was John?
Duda at second. Tejada at first with 2 down. Good changeup by Volquez, 0-2.
Foot-eye combination is the key, not hand-eye.
Well, Jacob deGrom's success at the plate has put a little pressure on all these Mets pitchers.
Yeah.
Come on, he's hitting 800.
Yes.
And the curveball in, strike 3 called, and that'll end the inning. 3rd strikeout for Volquez. Mets strand a couple. After 2, Mets and Pirates, no score. Try Honda dealer tomorrow afternoon, the final game of this homestand, and then the Mets embark on an 11-game trip, 5 days in Philadelphia. 5-game series aren't that unusual, but 5-day series are very unusual.
So I recommend for all of us in the booth in the truck, we have a big league meal Saturday or Sunday, right? Find some place in Philadelphia.
Certainly get to know Philly very well.
Yes.
We'll be like Rocky. You know what I suggest?
I'm not going to be pounding and hitting any of the steak before we eat it. I'll tell you that.
You know what I suggest if you have, that much free time in Philadelphia? The Philly Zoo is fabulous.
Okay.
If you like going and watching the giraffes.
You're a giraffe guy. That's right.
Here's Neil Walker leading off. You know Lynn Sher from ABC News?
Yeah, of course. She's great.
She wrote a book about giraffes.
She did?
And she sent it over after she heard how much I enjoy the tall guys.
So you both are simpatico. Very nice.
The name of the book is Tall Blondes.
Oh, that's great. Feeding time for the giraffes in the zoo is one of the great times of all time.
Clint Barmes on deck. Walker hitting for a higher average from the right side, but all his power from the left side. Goes after the high fastball, 2-1. Walker had 2 hits yesterday, 272 for the year, with a lot more power recently. 10 home runs this year. He's never had more than 16 in a season, and that was last year. Sometimes guys grow into their power.
They have, and I mentioned that McCutchen, kind of the de facto captain. I think Neil Walker is a great influence on a lot of the young players. Also, he's I don't know if he can bleed black and yellow, but he comes close.
Well, he grew up in Pittsburgh, big Pirate fan, #1 draft pick by the Pirates. They weren't sure what position he was going to play, but he has settled in the last 6 years as a very good piece at second base. East goes to a full count. And Walker might have helped him out there.
Talking about switch hitting, have you seen the talented young center fielder for the Minnesota Twins has decided he's only going to hit right-handed now, Aaron Hicks. He said, I have no confidence when I go up the bat left-handed.
Speaking of young outfielders, it's like George Springer has hit his stride. 4 for 4, homer, 3 RBIs yesterday.
What's he had? 4 home runs in his last 5 games, something like that.
Homer did 4 straight.
4 straight.
Yeah.
5 home runs in his last 4 games.
So I guess that tough start, I guess that's over. Yeah. Swing and a miss. A backdoor cutter from East to strike out Walker for his first strikeout of the night.
You have so many pitches inside. Recker's sitting in there for the cutter, and sometimes when you don't cut it correctly, it just becomes that spinner that stays on the outside part of the plate. The Japanese players would call that the gyro ball. It's the backup cutter or slider that never ever breaks.
Not the shuto?
Not the shuto.
Here's Clint Barmes with 1 out. Barmes getting the start at shortstop tonight, his 14th start of the year. Jordy Mercer has been playing most of the shortstop. The 35-year-old Barmes into the lineup tonight because he has good career numbers against Nice. And he bounces one down to right, who waits on the hop. And a wide throw, but Duda with the tag. Nicely done for the second out. David's throwing has not been pristine this year.
What has happened with David's throws is that when he releases the ball, he's got incredible sink and run to his ball. So if it's going to be anywhere, it's going to be up the line. And Lucas has had no fear this entire season on making that play. That can sometimes be a tough play to make if you're a first baseman.
So 2 out and nobody on. Now the pitcher Volquez, 1 for 12 at the plate this year, and a lifetime .096 hitter. Here's the strike, 1-1. Josh Harrison would be next. Cutter runs inside, 2-1. Well, Nice gave up 3 runs in 7 innings in his last start. He's now had 13 straight starts going back to last year of 3 earned runs or fewer. It's not quite Zach Greinke yet.
I was going to say it's a poor man's Greinke, right?
But it's the kind of consistency the Mets have been waiting for from John.
And he's had stretches of this before. When he won 13 games, that was how his season went.
Strike 3 called. Volquez called out to end the inning. Second strikeout for Nice. No score in the third. Since 2003, and he talked to Kevin Burkhardt before the game tonight.
Lamar, you know, it's interesting. You've been here a long time, so just the idea of promoting from within, and this organization has done that before, but is that a great thing when you toiled for a long time and the reward comes?
Well, yeah, that's always great because everybody wants to work up here in the major leagues, and that's what all the guys down there are working for. And when we have an organization that really looks down there and bring a lot of their guys forward, that makes the guys, let the guys down there know that, hey, if I do my job and everything turns out well, I get an opportunity to work up there.
You were here long before this front office regime was here, before this hitting approach was put into place. So you have plenty of thoughts. You've been on the major league level before as a player and as a coach. What differences do you bring to the table now? Even though the approach generally is the same, I'm sure there's some Lamar tweaks in there.
Mm-hmm. Well, basically what I bring is the knowledge of knowing some of the players. I've seen them when they started out, and I've seen them play all the way through to here, and I just think that's going to help a little bit, just my knowledge of the players.
Explain to me about the approach, because I think when people see guys go, 1-2, they see a fastball left untouched, and they get in the hole, there's frustration. The proper way to execute this, what do you want these players to do? Tell me, what is the goal of the current approach right now?
Well, the coach approach is get a good pitch to hit. And it doesn't matter if it's the first pitch or the last pitch. You get your pitch. You always look for your pitch to hit. And if you throw you that pitch, that fastball, what you're looking for, then that's the pitch you swing at. And it's the type of thing that if you're focused on your pitch, then you'll lay off a lot of the other pitches. But you have to be focused on your pitch, the first pitch, all the way through that at bat.
Do you think there is a misconception, I don't know, maybe fans, players, just because of that, it's, well, you got to wait to get the pitch at the first pitch. Your pitch could essentially be the first pitch?
Right. I don't think you have to wait to get your pitch. You go up there looking for your pitch all the time.
Yeah.
And put your best swing on that pitch all the time. And sometimes it'll be the first pitch, and then sometimes it'll be the fifth pitch. But basically what you want to do, you want to be ready to hit that pitch if it's your pitch.
Does it help you think, that you are a major leaguer? Does that help? Does that give credence to a coach when they get to this level?
Well, I would like to think so, but a lot of times it doesn't matter. If a guy got a good philosophy and a good relationship with his players and getting them to do what they're supposed to do on an everyday basis, like getting them ready to play mentally and physically, I think that's the biggest thing about coaching, is getting your guys ready to play.
Well, that's before we let you go. You know a lot of the kids. We know that you've been roving around for the last bunch of years here. But how about when you come up here, some of the veterans like Granderson and Wright and those guys? What will your approach be in terms of seeing what they're doing, and when do you make suggestions or make slight adjustments?
Well, basically, it's I let them tell me what to look for in the dugout. And then if I see something that they're not doing that, then I'll go up and tell them that you asked me to look for this and I didn't see that today, and maybe we should work on that later. But basically it's up to them because they've been playing a long time. They know their swing better than I do, and I just work with them on their swing. They'll tell me what to look for.
It's great to see you in a place other than Port St. Lucie, Lamar. Good to see you, and congrats to you.
All right, Kevin. Thank you.
That is Lamar Johnson. A lot of interesting things to say. But meanwhile, a mano-on-mano battle going on between the center fielders today. First Lagares, Rob McCutchen, and now McCutchen with an even better play than Rob Lagares.
Well, I don't know if Juan knows this, but turnabout can be fair play. I don't think he's feeling it right now.
That was splendid.
I thought it was a short double, and he just came out of nowhere, did McCutchen, and closed the gap. He has that closing kind of speed and the ability to control his body and make the play.
Well, better than the ball that Murphy hit his first time up, as Murph has to escape.
Lay it out and then be able to keep it in the glove. Hit pretty hard into the turf there, did McCutchen.
And if he doesn't catch it, that's a short triple, because Tejada was nowhere in the neighborhood to back up. But instead, Lagares has to take a turn back to the dugout. Curveball hit over the bag. That's a fair ball. It hits off the jutting stands. Murphy heads to second, and he's in standing with a one-out double.
Well, when your center fielder makes a play like that, I'm not worthy, says Volquez. It can get you pumped up. I'll tell you though, Murph, pitch before, almost hit him inside, and then to have a curveball and him make that adjustment shows you the kind of hitter that Daniel Murphy is. Very nice piece of hitting.
So Murphy has his 13th double of the year. David Wright will come to bat with the man at second base. Let's go back to some of Lamar Johnson's comments. And clearly it works for him, having seen a lot of these guys in the minor leagues. Communication and relationships have to be a big part of any either hitting coach or pitching coach's relationship with players.
Well, I'm sure that the players had it with Dave Hudgens also. I did not know Dave as well as I know Lamar. I've known Lamar for a long time. He's really a gregarious kind of guy. He just is always has a smile on his face, loves being at the ballpark. That being said, I think it's all about a new voice. It's all about, what's happening is not working. Let's try something different. And it doesn't mean absolutely that the players aren't on their way to getting better, but they haven't proven it. So you need to get someone else in who can maybe say, hey, it's a fresh voice. This is what I did. When Phil Garner was the manager of the Milwaukee Brewers in 1994, they really had a tough year.
Easier play for McCutchen this time. Murphy tags at second. McCutchen unleashes the throw, and it gets there a shade late. So Murphy's at third with 2 out.
I was saying that Phil Garner in 1994 was the manager of the Brewers, and they only scored 540 runs that year. Disappointment around, and here's the tag by Murph. And he decided to name Lamar Johnson the hitting coach that next season. They scored 740 runs. So that's what the Mets are looking for here. Now, that little piece of lightning.
Now, you mentioned Lamar's been in the organization a long time. You've known him a long time. But he has adopted the hitting philosophy that this organization is espousing, not only at the major league level, but throughout the farm system. And you heard Kevin ask him about it, and we've talked about it from time to time. And it's interesting to hear Lamar express it the way he did. He said it's just about getting your pitch to hit. You don't have to wait. And yet, you look at the way the system has been utilized at the major league level, and you get a different impression of exactly what's being taught. There's Granderson, who struck out his first time up.
Well, Lamar as a hitter when he was a player was a very aggressive hitter. So I don't think you take that completely out of your system when you become a coach. He knows the system. He knows what is wanted. Get the pitch to hit and put a stroke on it, of course, as all hitting coaches will tell you. There seems to be, and that's just one interview with Kevin, and a good interview. Kevin's always great at those. A more aggressive kind of feel to what he wants.
But this is the reality of what the Mets have been over the last 4 years. They have had more 0-1 counts than any team in the major leagues. And you can see at the bottom, when you get to 0-1, your chances of getting a hit are much lessened than swinging at the first pitch. And that's not saying you have to swing at the first pitch, but when you get a first pitch strike, the Mets more often than not have not swung at that pitch. Now, they say that's not the philosophy, and you heard Lamar say that, and it feels as though maybe there's a disconnect between what the goal is and what the reality has been.
And that's why the different voice might help, Gary. It's not that, you know, Hudgens' incredible hard worker, was espousing his own kind of theory within the theory. I'm sure that Lamar has his theory within the theory, but I try to pay attention to the best hitters in the game, and when I hear a Miguel Cabrera say, when I go to the plate, I look for the #1 pitch, because that might be the only pitch I get to hit the whole at bat. Be ready for the first pitch. When you're talking about a guy who hits 330 or 340 every year, that's a nice philosophy to look at. Right? Now, he's off the planet, talent-wise, so no one is going to be able to approach that, or very few can. But sometimes I know, even when I used to be a pitcher, the best pitch you're going to get from me was the first one. So if you were ready for it, I was in trouble.
3-2 to Granderson with Murphy at 3rd and 2 out. Murphy again faking down the line as Granderson draws the walk. The Mets have runners at the corners for Abreu. But think about it from the other side, and you just brought it up.
Yeah.
You know, again, the way that publicly the hitting philosophy has been explained, both by Dave Hudgens and by Lamar Johnson in that interview, is we're just looking for a pitch to hit. But the reality is that players are taking a lot of pitches, trying to work deep counts. That appears to be part and parcel of what's being taught. Now, if you're a pitcher and you see that the other team is constantly taking the first pitch, what does that do?
Well, I would think that I would get guided by my pitching coach, who would give me this one sentence. The Mets tend to be very patient the first time through the order, which gives me the indication that I should be overly aggressive the first time through the order. That might change.
Murphy really faking down the line as Abreu goes after the first pitch and swings at a changeup.
Have you noticed that Bobby Abreu in RBI situations tends to be a little more aggressive, and Edison Volquez does a nice job with that changeup
after walking him his first time up. Been mentioning Murphy. Watch how far down the line he gets with Harrison playing way back and off the line. Abreu rips one through the shift and into right field, and the Mets cash the first run of the night. Bobby Abreu staying hot. RBI single, 1-0 New York.
Well, this is the prime example or definition of getting your pitch to hit and going after it. It's supposed to be a fastball in. It's almost towards the outside part of the plate. Then Bobby was waiting for it. A BB up the middle that, if not hit hard enough, might have been able to be an out in the shift.
First one of the game brought to you by the New York Lottery. Hey, you never know. So Murphy's double. Mets can cash him in. Ray Sears, the pitching coach, and right in the grill of Edison Volquez.
Well, he had Murphy in the hole. He hung a curve. He walked Granderson after he struck him out the first time up. To face Abreu, who in the matter of 72 hours has become one of the more important Mets hitters. So a little lack of concentration there by Volquez and some real good hitting by the Mets puts him on top.
So now a chance for Duda with 2 out and 2 on. Granderson at second, Abreu at first. Pirates put 3 infielders on the right side, but leave the third baseman Harrison home with a runner at second. Changeup skips in for ball 1.
See, this is the issue with Volquez, and I'm sure Ray Sears, their pitching coach, has it. He's throwing 98 miles an hour, and when he gets in trouble, he starts to go to the soft stuff because he thinks that's where he's going to get no contact. What he ends up with is behind in the count.
And he wants a conversation with Martin after throwing that first pitch to Duda.
Did you see Martin's reaction? It was like, I mean, what is it now?
I was just there.
I mean, come on.
Well, first time up, Duda grounded one where the shortstop normally plays, and that's where the third baseman was stationed. If he hits one in the same spot this time, it'll be a hit because there's nobody playing in the shortstop spot. You know, teams are forced to modify their shifts because of base running situations, and this is a classic example of that.
Good swing there by Lucas. Really let it fly. I mean, it doesn't get better than this swing other than making contact. That's a good swing. Aggressive swing.
And the curveball from Volquez bends in for a strike, 1-2.
If you just came from another planet and watched Edison Volquez throw, you'd go, this guy must be a 15-game winner.
Was once. It's a long time ago. He's ahead on Duda, 1-2. Down to Sanchez at first. And taking himself to retire the side. But the Mets score first on Abreu's hit. But it's been crazy eights tonight. Lagares robs McCutchen. McCutchen robs Lagares. Who's going to win the rubber match?
Well, you know, one of the great things, Ray Searage, I love him as a pitching coach. He is intense. You can see him right there with the fist bump with Russell Martin, who somehow got Volquez through that inning. But he's always been that way, too. Always. Since his Mets days, he's been like that.
Ray Searage has a small but valuable piece of Mets history. The only Met in history who finished his Mets career He didn't play for the Mets for long.
Yeah.
Finished his Mets career with a 1,000 winning percentage and a 1,000 batting average.
How big was the winning percentage? Like how many wins?
1-0.
Oh.
And 1-for-1 at the plate. Harrison grounds one right at Tejada. And the overhand throw gets him one away. So 1 out and nobody out. Let's check in with Kevin Burkhardt, who was a special guest. Kev?
Yeah, this guy sold a lot of albums, like what, over 30 million, 50, that's for sure. 50 Cent is here, and he's going to have a post-game concert after the game on June 14th. And, well, it's good to see. You got a new album dropping next week, huh?
Yeah, I'm excited about it. Animal Ambition. This is going to be a lot of fun for me to perform here at Citi Field because it's the first time I'm performing at home in Queens.
Yeah, you're a Queens guy. You are a baseball fan, too. So how did this all come about for you?
I mean, well, I was supposed to do something last year, and my scheduling didn't permit it. And then we got it together this year with perfect timing because I didn't have new music out.
Yeah.
You know, so this time it's been more exciting. I'm a little more current.
All right, we just showed your first pitch. I know you're an athlete. You're a boxer growing up, played all kinds of sports. You got to tell me what happened.
That was Curtis Jackson. I don't even like when he comes around. You know, I don't even want him around here. 50 Cent is the best. 50 Cent is the best. Curtis Jackson's. I don't even know what's the matter with him.
So 50 throw at the first pitch would have been a 95-mile-an-hour strike is what you're telling me.
Right there, just like that right there.
Was it cool for you to go out here and talk to some of the guys before? I saw you out there with Granners and some of the guys.
Yeah, definitely. It's exciting to actually see them in person. You know what I mean? I've been watching them on television like the rest of the public.
Yeah.
You got to get out here. The experience here live at the live sporting events are better than anything.
Is it really challenging? I mean, you've got this show after a game, but the different thing, we'll see if Tejada can make the play, and he can't. The different thing about that is when you're doing a normal show, you kind of know what time you're going to go on, but here you really have no idea. So how do you prepare for that?
Well, I mean, it's like Hollywood. You hurry up and wait.
Yeah.
You prepare yourself for it, and then you wait patiently until everyone's settled in. But they want to see the game, you know, and then we just added a value to it by actually putting the music behind you. It's cool.
What kind of, how long do you think the show will be? And are there, the songs, you have to run the songs by the Mets, you can do whatever you want here.
Yes, what I could do is I'll sequence all of my actual hit records and go through the entire format, my entire journey here, because I'm going to have so many people from my actual neighborhood here in Queens that I want to make sure I show off.
That's pretty cool. It's great seeing you, man. Enjoy the show. Look forward to seeing you on the 14th.
It's a pleasure, man.
All right, 50 Cent, guys. Got the new album dropping on Tuesday. We'll see him here on the 14th. Back to you.
I think 50 Cent's alter ego, Curtis Jackson, was more like a nickel on that.
That's all right. That's all right. That happens. It's so nice. I mean, there's certain things. Well, I shouldn't say certain things. Almost all the things we do, Kevin should be doing.
Down to third, right handles. Murphy with the turn, but can't double up McCutchen. By the way, on the previous play, they charged an error on Tejada, which I don't know. That might get changed. That did not look like an error, but what it means is that he still hasn't given up a hit. So if it's going to be changed, it should be changed soon before it becomes an issue.
Can't fault that. The Mets did everything right in trying to turn a double play on McCutchen. Just too good of an athlete and too much speed. I was saying, Kevin said to Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent, he said he got a new album dropping. I can't go there. I wish I could say that. I don't want to be able to say that.
But Kev's been spending time in L.A.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Let's do lunch.
What brand of water would you like? Remember that movie, The Player?
Oh,
Tim Robbins?
The Player, exactly. Or the Steve Martin movie where everyone's in line ordering a different kind of coffee.
Right. Sanchez walked his first time up, and the cutter misses inside, 1-1. What do you think, hit or error on that play?
Definitely a hit.
Yeah,
definitely a hit. I don't think they took into account top of the speed.
Well,
too.
Here's the problem. I'm not sure who the official scorer is tonight, but we were in the interview with Curtis.
Yes.
50. Lined just under the glove of Duda, and that is going to be a base hit. So, issue resolved. McCutchen goes first to third, but we never showed a replay, and I think that's why he scored that in there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, if we showed the replay, he might have changed his mind. Anyway, this was a hit for Sanchez.
Well, shocking that it was Gabby Sanchez who gets the first hit. McCutchen with that good speed, first to third.
So now runners at the corners with 2 down. By the way, speaking of holding teams without a hit, how about the Dodgers? 16 straight no-hit innings.
Well, I put this on the Major League Baseball Players Association. They've got to do something about the Cincinnati Reds got, and I'm not saying Rio was awesome. Cincinnati Reds had an 8 o'clock game the night before. They got the Los Angeles at 6 o'clock in the morning to play a 5 o'clock game. That is cry foul. Please, something has got to change.
Well, so Martin Line went into a double play. Well, the Sunday night games always present travel difficulties because Sunday's always a getaway day. So what do you do?
I don't have the answers. I'm not smart enough for it. All I know is you're risking injury, and you're not putting the best product on the field when you have a team get to their hotel at 7 o'clock in the morning.
In LA traffic.
Whoa. Memorial Day, they might have been saved.
Yeah, I don't know. How many hours of the day are there in LA when there isn't ungodly traffic? He's in a spot here behind on Martin 2-0. First and third and 2 out. There's a good changeup. One of the few he's thrown tonight in a good spot.
Well, this is one of these mini kind of battles that you have within a game. That there's 4 or 5 outs. You have to get to have one of those real solid efforts. This is number 1 for Jonathan.
Retired. No Wall to deal with this time. East finds his way out of trouble. 1-0 New York. To you by Infinity, luxury cars that deliver inspired performance. Today's AT&T fan photo. Tweet your fan photo using hashtag #PixFanPhoto. Brought to you by AT&T. Anthony Recker will lead off for the Mets in the home 4th inning. Now let me ask you a question, Ronnie. You've played this game a long time.
Yeah.
You got a situation tonight where there are thunderstorms hovering. You got a lead. It's the bottom of the 4th. It's not an official game.
Yeah.
We had a similar kind of a situation the other day and had a game rained out. Do you play hurry up here? Do you swing the bat fast, try and get through the half inning and the next one to make it an official game?
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that Gary, maybe years ago when the fields weren't as good as they are now, you might have thought of it if it was the 5th inning. Maybe you might think about it, but certainly not now. These fields, unlike the other night when it was called, which was highly unusual, usually the games go on. So I just continue to take your good at bats and try to add on. Now you give me a 5, 6, 7, 8 nothing lead, right. It might be a different experience, but
We'd had a rain out in Washington, a rain delay in Philadelphia, so
you could hurry up and they could poop and blast you in the 5th inning, right?
Exactly right. Edison Volquez gave up a 2-out hit to Bobby Abreu that played to the only run of this game in the 3rd. That's on the lower 3rd of the order coming up. Record, Tejada, and Nice in the home 4th. Record took a call 3rd strike his first time, and the curveball sits high and in for ball 1. Well, we began the conversation last inning after we heard from Lamar Johnson about the Mets hitting approach and what's espoused publicly, what's communicated privately, and what the bottom line is in terms of what the Mets do on the field. And you know, we showed some numbers in our open tonight about how the Mets on base plus slugging has come down every year for the last 4 years, and how their runs scored has basically come down for the last 4 years. But I think what's more interesting is how you get to that point. And we showed the one graphic a moment ago about how the Mets have had more 0-1 counts than any team in baseball over the last 4 years, which I think presents a certain reality. And then there's the overall pitches taken, and I think that also provides a piece of the reality. Recker hits this one out to right center field. Back in the gap goes Tejada, and McCutchen peels off to avoid any collisions. See, here we go. This is pitches taken per game, and if you look, the Mets are well in front of any other team in the National League. Again, this is since 2011, which is when the current regime came in and brought in this hitting philosophy. So that means they haven't swung it 55.5% of the pitches, which again is the highest percentage in the league. So again, it's what's said publicly, which is we're not about being patient and taking pitches. We're about finding the best pitch to hit, and that may be so. But the reality ends up being is Tejada slugs the first pitch toward the gap in left center, and that ball is off the base of the wall. And Rubin, putting the first pitch in play, has himself his 5th double of the year. So I guess what I'm saying is that there's a disconnect between public statements and public perception, and the public perception is that the Mets are very patient. Here, Tejada not patient. And the reality is, if you look at the numbers, well, that seems to support the contention that they are maybe overly patient.
Well, you know what's interesting for me, Gary, and you know, and again, I always go back to the human part of it, because a man who worked hard lost his job. A new man is in position, but maybe it is get a pitch to hit. What is that definition? That to me is the most interesting part of it, because if you are looking for a pitch to hit that fits in a tin cup, well, yeah, you're right. You're probably not going to get that on first pitch or third pitch or whatever. That is really making sure that ball is I think you give yourself more credit that there's a larger area of pitch that you can hit hard and put in play at a line drive kind of a way. So it'll be interesting to see. Maybe the definition sometimes gets lost on hitters, because I've seen it on teams I've been on. So well, that pitch wasn't perfect.
Right.
Well, sometimes you're not going to get a perfect pitch. So maybe your little box, as Jonathan goes down, your little circle of what you can attack should maybe be a little larger than you think of it, because I think if you go up there and looking for that small area, and I think that 3-0 area,
right,
where you're looking for a ball 3-0, I think that's the way you do a 3-0. But there are, give yourself more credit. These hitters have a bigger window of putting balls in play, and then maybe that'll change a little bit.
We talked with Dave Hudgens on more than one occasion about this philosophy.
Yeah.
The way he explained it is the plate's 17 inches wide, and we're trying to eliminate the inside 2 inches and the outside 2 inches and only use the 13 inches in the middle of the plate. And that seems to make a lot of sense. But the question is that what's being put into play, or is something, I don't know, that some variation of that's keeping the Mets from being as aggressive as they'd like to be, even within those parameters? And That's, I guess, that goes to the backstop, and Tejada goes over to third on the wild pitch.
I would say one of the most difficult parts of coming up through the professional ranks is the ball's supposed to be inside and it's in the other batter's box. For me, Gary, was that trying to figure out who I was and also trying to please those who were teaching me. And in the beginning, I did more of trying to please those who were teaching me than trying to figure out what kind of player I was. Once those things became more 50-50, that's when things took off.
Here's Lagares. He drives one deep left field. Back goes Marte to the warning track at the wall. It's off the top of the fence. Tejada in to score. Lagares races in with an RBI double, and the Mets have a 2-0 lead. Doubles by Tejada and Lagares produce a run. The Mets up by 2.
You know, it's not only a couple of runs, which I really like now. You know, we're in the 4th inning of this ball game, but it's a couple of 2-out runs, Gary. And those 2-out runs are just so important for a ball club. They're deflating for the other club. The pitcher thinks he's out of the inning, and he's not because of a swing like that from Lagares.
Hit it right in the middle of the Owen Mason.
He's lucky it wasn't out of the ballpark.
Almost put it right into the postgame show.
You don't have to say it now.
Well, the Mets have 3 doubles in the last 2 innings. Murphy in the 3rd, and now Tejada and Lagares in the 4th. By the way, just as an FYI, maybe to put a little bow on what we're talking about in terms of, you know, getting your pitch, being aggressive. When the Mets put the first pitch in play this year, as Tejada did this inning, they're hitting .335, which is right around the league average.
Right.
At the end of the day, the goals for every team offensively are the same. You want your on-base percentage to be as high as it can be. You want your slugging percentage to be as high as it can be. So you're avoiding outs and getting extra base hits to produce runs. The question is, how do you best get there? What's the philosophy, and how do you teach that philosophy? Over the last 4 years, that's where the Mets have been compared to the league. They've walked the most times, which correlates to all those pitches they've taken. While the other numbers, not quite where they'd like to be. And of course, that includes that first year in 2011 when they had Reyes win a batting title and they had Beltran for 2/3 of the year.
That's right.
And then the other side of it, and we'll address this a little bit later, is you're trying your best to maximize what you're getting out of every player you have. Then the question is, are you doing that? Do the players have room to improve?
Yeah.
Or have you maximized what you're getting from each player?
Or what you're getting is what you're going to get.
Right. And that's sometimes hard to judge. There's ball 4, and Murphy's on with a walk, so the inning continues on the 4th walk issued by Volquez. Volquez had walked only 15 batters in 56 innings this year, but this is not his best night.
You know, you spend your he's only given up a couple runs, but you spend your entire career getting to a place where you make this game look easy, and it's easier for you. And I think it's been the opposite for Edinson. You can see as you watch this ball game. You know, the good thing for Edinson is that the Pirates took a pitcher, Francisco Liriano, last year that was trying to get his career going again, and did in a huge way. And they're hoping that happens for Volquez as time goes on.
Whereas Liriano's gone in the other direction this year. 2 out and 2 on for David Wright, who's 0 for 2. Goes after that first pitch fastball and fouls it off. Curtis makes friends wherever he goes.
He does.
Lagares at second, Murphy at first with 2 out. Volk is ahead on right, 0-2.
Sometimes you think you have this game figured. David watched Volquez pitch everybody away, and he comes up, first 2 pitches, right in on him, inside corner.
Martin wants it up. And now down. That's interesting. And breaking for third is Lagares. He'll make it without a throw. Second wild pitch of the inning. That was very interesting for Martin. He signaled up, he signaled out, he signaled in, he signaled down.
And he got down, but he couldn't keep that ball in front. The miracle of this play is that Murph's still on first.
Murph being cautious?
Yes. Conservative. The conservative Murph. And that was the right play because Martin was looking right at Murph. He was not looking at Lagares at third at all. Murph's like, easy does it.
It's been thrown out with right at the plate a couple of times. 2 end innings. Not going to make that mistake again. So now Lagares at third, Murphy at first with 2 out. 1-2 from Volquez. And right grounds one to short. Vargas on the backhand. The off balance throw pulls Sanchez off the bag, but he tags right. Who couldn't slide by him. And the inning is over. So the Mets set up for 1 run on doubles by Tejada and Lagares. David tried to execute evasive maneuvers, and Sanchez able to stay with him. 2-0 Mets after 4. For the Mets, Lamar Johnson is here. Oh, by the way, the Mets are up 2-0 as the Pirates will hit here against Jonathan Neese. I talked to Ryan Ellis today, who's the manager at Single-A St. Lucie, and Ellis told me that he wouldn't be managing if it weren't for Lamar Johnson. He said when I got here, he was the overall instructor, and I was a hitting coach, and he really helped me. He asked me in 2008, said, hey, what do you want to do when this is all said and done? And Ryan said, I want to manage. He said, well, you will be in 2 years. Let's go over some of the things that you need to know to get to that place. 3 years later, Ellis was indeed managing at the St. Lucie level, and he's been there and he's won since he's been there. So he really helped there. The guy is friendly. The guy, according to Ellis, is not overbearing. That one's ripped by Marte, but Abreu is going to come in and make the catch. His qualities, according to Ellis, not overbearing. He's patient, and he keeps it simple. See how it works here. Gary, back to you. Lamar's certainly got a great personality. Tell that first time you encounter him and look at his smile. John's got plenty of help from his outfielders tonight.
Well, it's interesting. He tapped himself on the chest. You know what that means? My bad. I made a bad pitch there. Got away with it, though.
He's gotten away with a few. He had Lagares, Rob McCutcheon at the wall. He had the line drive double play on Martin's BB to left, and now Marte hits a bullet as well that's caught.
Another reason defense is so important for this ball club, especially with the starting pitching that they've showed so far this season.
But as a starting pitcher, when you get those, you feel like you're ahead of the game.
Oh, you feel like you're stealing money. It's unbelievable. You're like, I can't believe I made that pitch and he didn't hit it out of the ballpark, or it was a base hit.
Do you have years like that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, I had. I think that 88 was a strange year.
Another shot. Tejada with a brilliant pickup, and he throws out Walker. That is as good a play as Tejada has made all year.
I love watching this leather flashed in this inning. Ball was by him, but the urgency to get up so quickly, and you can't even see Walker in the picture. That shows you how quick Tejada was to his feet, planted, and we know that the backhand is not his favorite. He's worked really hard on that play to get better at it. And he's a little in off the grass, makes the play at the grass, and then a bullet over to first.
Love the way he got rid of that ball with authority. That was terrific. 2 out and nobody on. Armas takes outside.
I see you.
John is living right tonight.
That's right.
Armas grounded out to third base his first time up.
It was 88. I won the most games I won in the major leagues, and I had a good year. I had a lot of shutouts and that kind of stuff. I also had 4 or 5, as bad a games as you could have in the major leagues. I don't know where they came from, but they came. But I would say 3 or 4 of those wins that year, Gary. I had games, not like Jonathan's having now. He's got better stuff, but games where at the end of the game you kind of laugh and go, boy, I don't know how that happened, but thank you very much. You know, when you have nothing, your team scored 10. You know, those kind of things. Guys are hitting bullets everywhere. They're turning double plays that no one should ever make. I was on the right side of it that season.
Living large.
Yep.
Armas takes below the knees, 3-2. Well, after having those 2 great plays made behind him, the last thing John wants to do is walk the number 8 hitter. Toward the hole. Tejada can't quite get to this one. And it's a 2-out hit for Armas. Just the second Pittsburgh hit of the night.
Again, showing the great range. Almost gets a glove on this baseball. Maybe he does. No, just by him. Good try by Ruben.
The games that Tejada has gotten to play since Flores arrived, his defense has been at a different level.
Yeah.
Here's Volquez, who took a call third strike his first time. East with a nice extension. Side retired. A wonderful defensive inning for the Mets. Play of the game brought to you by the 2014 Mazda 3 with seamless connectivity. Play of the game is in competition. Give it to Tejada. your weekday, join Suki, Corey, and Linda for the Pix 11 Morning News, where every story hits home. Edison Volquez back to the mound for the bottom of the 5th.
You know my sleeping habits, so occasionally I'll get up and I'll be watching the morning show at 4:30 or 4:45 in the morning. And I love the reports that they have that there's no traffic at that time.
Is there ever traffic at 4:30?
Well, there's no reason for a report. Why do we have to go to it? Right now, there's no traffic on the Van Wyck.
So what you're saying is that's the easiest job in television is the 4:30 a.m. traffic report.
Until it gets to about 6:30. Then it's a problem.
Is it the same person?
Sometimes,
See,
yes.
so they have to work into it.
Okay. All right.
I do know this.
Yeah.
For several years early in my professional career, I worked morning drive radio. You get up at 3:30 in the morning. You're at work at 4:45.
What?
And you feel morally superior to the rest of the universe.
You do.
You're up and working at 4:45 in the morning, and the rest of the world is sleeping.
I never feel morally superior. I feel like
It's the only time I've ever felt that.
What is wrong with me? Why am I up at this time? Everyone else is sleeping soundly.
Well, you're not getting paid at 4 in the morning.
No,
that's the difference.
Oh, okay. We got to try to work that into the schedule.
Well, you got to find a side gig. Maybe you can do a blog at 4 o'clock in the morning.
There you go. Only at 4. That'd be an interesting blog, right?
I think we can find you a sponsor in about 5 minutes.
Sounds like trouble.
Well, undoubtedly. Trouble we can find. Granderson takes the curveball up and away. 1-2. Granderson, Abreu, and Duda, 3 left-hand hitters for Volquez to contend with. Lefties were hitting about 45 points higher against Volquez this year. Up over 80 pitches working in the 5th inning. Mets with a 2-0 lead. Granderson lays off the changeup, 2-2. Jeff Branson, the Pirates hitting coach. Left-hand batting infielder with the Reds and the Braves during his career. Too high, and after getting ahead 0-2, Volquez goes full on Granderson. Granderson's been getting his walks, but 0 for his last 9. Drew a walk his last time up. Volquez has walked 4. He struck out 4.
Well, Martin really moves around back there.
Foul tip held by Martin. Strike 3. 5 strikeouts for Volquez. 1 out in the 5th.
The setup is beautiful by Martin. Just swung through by Grandy. And that's twice now he's held on to a ball that's been tipped and kept it in the glove.
Now Bobby Abreu, who's walked and singled in a run. So we've been talking these last few innings on the occasion of Mets changing hitting coaches about the Mets approach, what the change in hitting coach can do in terms of helping the hitters, maybe a different voice. But I think it's also instructive to look at some of the players and what they're doing compared to their career numbers. In other words, what can you expect greater than what the Mets have already gotten? The one guy in that half dozen who clearly is outperforming his career numbers is Daniel Murphy. Murphy, higher on base percentage, higher batting average, slightly the same slugging percentage as his career. So you'd say that he's outperforming his career numbers, but the rest of them all down either somewhat or significantly. And we leave out the guys who haven't had enough of a track record like a Lagares to compare. Well, these are veteran hitters who have a track record and are mostly underperforming.
Well, the wild card is Chris Young, because I think there's an expectation. Lucas absolutely also, because there was a choice made with Pittsburgh here in town, an obvious choice made to play Lucas at first base just about every single day. But the wild card for me is Chris Young. is acquired to produce certain kinds of numbers that have not come as of yet. Now maybe it'll take someone like Lamar Johnson and Chris Young working together to find some old magic. Who knows? That's up to those two.
Now, there was a lot of conversation last week when Juan Lagares sat down for a few days, and there's a strike 3-2 to Abreu, about the fact that Chris Young had promised a certain amount of playing time. Well, Chris has not started now 3 straight games, so Abreu's getting playing time that had been going to Chris Young. So the question is, how is that playing time going to be allocated going forward?
You know, my feeling, Gary, has always been is that if you are one of the and this season you might have less than a half dozen, but if you're one of the elite teams, then you can maybe afford to find out some things. If you're a team that's scuffling to get wins, especially here in May, I think you take your best shot every night, whatever that is. Whoever you think those players are, it's you have to take your best shot every night.
Abreu pulls one down to first, and Sanchez belatedly makes the flip, and Volquez a little slow getting there, but just beat Abreu for the second out.
It wasn't Sanchez's fault. Volquez, for some reason, thought that running full speed was not one of the conditions of this play. So Sanchez is trying to get the timing right to get Volquez to get his right foot on the bag. He did do it right. It's no fault to Sanchez. He's just trying to figure out when Volquez was going to get there, and he only got there a half step ahead of a 40-year-old hitter.
So 2 out and nobody on. Volquez has a chance for his first 1-2-3 inning of the game. Dude is 0 for 2. Twice has hit the ball on the ground. Back-to-back curveballs, 0-2. Anthony Recker would be next. Three in a row. You're a right-hand pitcher. How many curveballs in a row can you throw a left-hand?
Well, I mean, there's the rub. Okay, he throws 2 great breaking balls. Where's your third breaking ball where it's 0-2? It's in the dirt. Try to get him to swing over. He throws it right down the middle. That's a good pitch. That's a changeup down. As a pitcher, and we've talked about it, and you folks probably know about it, you spend your lifetime getting ahead in the count, so you don't have to throw a ball over the plate. You don't have to throw it over the plate. The chances of the hitters getting a hit are very rare.
Skies one down the left field side, not a play.
I've also found that the more breaking balls you throw to professional hitters, they measure it after a while. They're just they're too good. Just you saw a bat last year or 2 years ago. One of the Atlanta pitchers had thrown 3, 4, 5 breaking balls in a row. One of the Mets hitters hit it out for a home run, and it wasn't because it wasn't a good breaking ball. It was just the 5th one.
The guys who can't hit that pitch get left behind in AAA.
That's right.
Volquez trying to get through the 5th, up to 97 pitches now. Seventh pitch of the at bat coming to Duda. And he stops the swing and he held it in time. Laz Diaz with a call down at third.
That was a good job by the rookie umpire, Clint Fagan. We see many of the veteran umpires. What do they do on this? They call it. Instead, the rookie, Clint Fagan, he points down to the third base umpire and gets some help from Laz Diaz. Nice call.
First time we've seen Fagan behind the plate.
Only Fagan I've liked works with Walter Becker. So this is a new Fagan to like here.
Only Fagan I knew worked with the Artful Dodger.
There you go.
1-2 in the dirt. Duda giving a good account of himself in this at bat. So Volquez will throw his 100th pitch. Not of this at bat, but you understand.
Got it.
3-2.
Only seems like this at bat. Nice job by Lucas.
How about Justin Turner last night for the Dodgers?
Yeah.
16-pitch walk. Maybe it cost Ryu his perfect game. He was up with the plate too long.
The Serge, Ray Serge shaking his head.
Aging by the moment.
100 pitches. Not out of the fifth for Volquez.
This will be the 10th pitch of the at bat to Duda after Volquez got ahead of him 0-2. And Lucas pounds one under the ground, and it'll be another.
I just saw the circled number 4 on the right-hand sleeve of the Pittsburgh players is pretty cool.
Didn't have that last night because they were wearing those special Memorial Day uniforms, but that is their tribute to Ralph Kiner.
Wow.
Spent most of his career as a Pirate, and the Mets with the logo commemorating his broadcasting career. 3-2, and that's outside, ball 4. What a terrific plate appearance for Lucas Duda. 11 pitches, and he works out the 2-out walk, the 5th given up by Volquez.
That'll get the Pittsburgh Pirates. You saw Clint go to the phone, Clint Hurdle, getting someone up, the right-hander. Ray Serge is going to go out to talk to Volquez to try to get him through this inning and also get his reliever some needed time.
Well, this is already the season high pitch count for Volquez. He had never thrown more than 100 in a start this year. Janmar Gomez is up in the Pirates bullpen.
So he started a game. Yeah, he started a game against the Mets once. Sinker slider.
Did he start against the Mets as a Pirate or was it as a Cleveland Indian?
That's a good question. I think it was as a Pirate.
So Rucker will come to bat with 2 out and a runner at first.
Freed on that? Okay, he said he's on it. It's all mixed up with, basketball, all that stuff.
Well, he was in Miami last night, hanging out with LeBron.
I heard he's got the Clevelander till it closes every time.
He was in L.A. the other day. He and Jack Nicholson were hanging out together at a Clippers game. What was Nicholson doing at a Clippers game anyway? Front runner.
Yeah.
Duda at first with 2 out. Pulled over the bank, just foul. Recker after his 4-hit game on Sunday, 0 for 2 today, struck out, fly out.
Boy, his numbers really jumped up for his average, huh? 4 for 4 day.
There's few enough at bats.
Yeah.
That's how it works. The 68 at bats for the year for Recker. By the way, Travis d'Arnaud is catching one more game for Double-A Binghamton tonight. And after the game, they'll evaluate him. He could drive down here and be available tomorrow. Or the Mets might wait till Thursday in Philly. But either way, Travis is only a day or 2 away. Oh, 1 to Recker. And the curveball misses. 1-1.
Businessman special tomorrow, right, Gary? 1 o'clock?
Did they call it that?
They don't call it anymore?
No, I know the
business person special.
The noon games in the summertime or the camp days. I think tomorrow's it's a day game.
Okay, all right.
We just call it a day game. Record takes the curve for a strike, 1-2. Jack Nicholson's friend just confirmed it was as a Pirate last year that John Mark Gomez started against the Mets. Now the 1-2, and he waves at the pitch in the dirt. Martin will have to make the toss, and that retires the side. 6 strikeouts for Volquez at the end of his day. 2-0 Mets.
The 2-1 pitch. Hit in the air to left field. It's deep. Back goes Jones by the fence. It hits the top of the fence. Comes back in play. Jones grabs it. The relay's go to the plate. They may get him. He's out. He's out at the plate.
One of the great moments during the Mets' unlikely pennant run in 1973 against the Pirates. 13th inning. Dave Augustine hits it off the top of the fence, right on top. 99 times out of 100 it goes over. It came right back to Cleon Jones, to Wayne Garrett, to Ron Hodges, and Richie Zisk tagged out at the plate. And then Hodges would get the game-winning hit in the next half inning, and the Mets had one of those miracle wins.
The Pirates manager, I don't know if you knew this, challenged to play because he said Hodges was blocking the play. Didn't give an avenue for the runner to get in there. So
very nice. Third time around the batting order for John Neese as we go to the 6th. Richard Zisk was a really good player, but he was very slow.
He had a lot of pop, though.
Josh Harrison 0 for 7 in this series. Neese has given up just 2 hits. Singles to Sanchez in the 4th, Barmes in the 5th. We'll say Tampa on deck, then Andrew McCutchen.
I remember the first time I ever threw the Ron Hodges in a ball game. He had one of those old style catching gloves, not the one that Yogi would wear, but the next generation that you would just, I mean, in those days, my rookie year, so I was throwing as hard as I could ever throw. And it would hit his glove and it would just go, I mean, no crack or nothing.
Lead off to Harrison. Second one given up by Neese. Well, Ron Hodges was with the Mets for a long time.
That's right.
73, it might have been his rookie year when he made that play at the plate.
And he still was there in '83 when I got there.
He was the 3rd stringer behind Jerry Grody and Duffy Dyer in those days.
Well, in '83 when I came, it was John Stearns, it was Ron Hodges, and it was the famous Junior Ortiz.
73 was Hodges' rookie years. Last year was 84. So 12 years all as a Met. And that's probably the most famous play ever made. Top Tejada hits it along the right field line. Over comes Abreu to grab it. 1 out.
Well, coming into this game, Gary, I mean, it's easy to say because he's a reigning MVP, but this was the mark for John to really concentrate on. Why? John likes to throw that cutter, and I think you guys mentioned in yesterday's game, he's so quick, middle of the plate in. Got to be careful in there.
And he comes in with that first pitch. Now, McCutchen came into the day 4 for 8 against Nice, and first time up he hit one that looked like 5 for 9. Well, Lagares robbed him of an extra base hit. McCutchen would later return the favor with an even better catch. And now Nice throws a curve and falls behind 2-0. So a dangerous spot here, tying run at the plate in a 2-0 game. McCutchen's power numbers a little down this year, only 4 home runs. He's third in the league in on-base percentage, leads the league in walks.
Pound for pound, you think one of the strongest guys in the league? I mean, if you met him, he's not a tall guy, not an overly big guy.
Oh, pound for pound, I don't think there's anybody close.
Right?
I mean, he's not in the weight class of an Evan Gattis or a Giancarlo Stanton.
I mean, you know, if he's 180 pounds, he's 185 pounds, maybe.
We were talking about it the other day. What was Willie Mays? 5'10", 180, 660 home run. Got a lot of leverage on that swing.
Willie, thicker though than McCutchen.
He's in phenomenal shape.
Only 27.
2-2. Curveball, bounce foul. Past Nick Leva, the Pirate third base coach.
He worked in the Mets farm system for a while. I think under Terry Collins, in fact, for one season. I remember seeing him in spring training. He's had some great moments over there at third base, right? Shook Joe Carter's hand before he went home, didn't he?
Right. Former Phillies manager. Here's Nick. McCutchen fouls it off. I'll make it into the seats.
What was the call? You'll never hit a bigger home run, Joe?
It's Tom Cheek's call. Late Tom Cheek.
There's Nick. Yeah, my beard does that too, Nick.
Saying it's time to stop the playoff beard?
No, he's fine with it. Can't do it because of this TV gig.
2-2 to McCutchen, and that just missed.
Did you see the umpire rise up there, Clint Fagan? He was thinking about it and then didn't, which I think was the right call. I think this ball's down. Close pitch, though. Could have went either way.
Can't make a much better one. Now Harrison at first, 1 out, and Nice will check in on him. Well, if they had Sanchez running on a 3-2 pitch to Martin, you have to figure they'll have Harrison running on a 3-2 pitch to McCutchen.
Well, they're down a run then, or 2 runs? I thought they were only down a run.
1.
Yeah.
But Harrison has the speed to steal a base if McCutchen strikes out.
McCutchen is I mean, he'll strike out, but he's not a huge strikeout guy. It's not a bad chance to take.
McCutchen tired of waiting, asks for time.
You know, maybe you could even have it like this. If you had an experienced base runner and you weren't sure that you wanted to send the runner, it would be nice if the manager and the base runner had one of these symbols that, hey, if you get a great jump, go. If you don't, that's fine. But if you get the jump, go.
Normally on a 3-2 pitch, you're not so worried about jump.
Yeah.
He's running. And McCutchen takes ball 4. Now the tying runs are on base. So Nice, who had walked only 1 batter in the first 5 innings, has walked a pair here in the 6th.
Well, when you look at the pitch package inside to try to get him off, and curveball gets behind, makes a nice pitch down and away. That pitch is perfect. Talked about the curveball he fouls off. This is the pitch down the middle that he got away with. That's the pitch he wanted called, and that one not even close. Looked like a 3-2 changeup on that pitch by John. Gary, you and I have talked about it up here, and John's got to know about it. You know, in his career, there's so many great moments, and the one thing that he can always work on is he seems to have one of these innings per game. And his good games he limits or does not allow any damage, and his bad games it turns into a crooked number.
Well, he had a 2-run lead in his last start in the 7th inning, gave up the home run to Justin Turner that tied it. Wound up with a win in that game. Now here he is with a 2-run lead in the 6th with the tying runs on base and the man killer Gabby Sanchez at the plate. Sanchez has walked and singled to right, and he takes the cutter for a strike. Sanchez has had such a knack against the Mets, going all the way back to the start of his career when he was playing every day for the then Florida Marlins. Guy you can double up if you get a ground ball on an infielder. And the curveball bends in for a strike, and it's 0-2.
Oh, beautiful placement of that. Cutter in on the corner. Curveball starts off the plate, bends down over the knees.
Sanchez's reaction. And just the 15th game Gabby started this year. They've seen so little left-handed pitching. And he's taking a look back at Harrison, who was dancing off second.
John's worked so hard to get to this 0-2 pitch. He's got one out. This is where you got to have that control off the plate, Gary. Can't allow him any pitch to put in play.
Oh, 2 curveball foul back.
Gabby does not have a lot of speed, so you know if you get inside, get that ground ball, keep it down, your defense has a chance to turn 2.
Slugs one foul. Now, if you come inside with a pitch like that, and the hitter turns it around, does it have the same impact as if you miss inside, he takes it, in terms of setting up your next pitch?
No, because my view is that he hit that on his fist, went nowhere. So you could double up in if you wanted to, because he's telling you that he's protecting away, because he can't get to that pitch in. So away is the problem.
Skimmed down the line, a foul ball.
All hitters with 2 strikes. I shouldn't say that, because things have changed a bit. But guys who have a two-strike approach is that they've got to protect the middle plate away. You know, the ball inside they've got to react to. If it breaks their bat and they get a hit, great. But it's hard to protect both sides of the plate. So you're trying to protect out over. So that makes you vulnerable in.
Even twice in a row.
Even twice in a row.
He's about to throw his 90th pitch of the night. Working hard on Sanchez. Tying runs on base with 1 out. Gabby takes the curveball in the dirt, 1-2.
Defense behind Jonathan. Okay, up the middle, double play. Lucas is way off the bag and back, but more importantly, David's almost a step and a half closer to the line. I like that. Can only score 1 if the ball goes in between right and Tejada.
Sanchez grounds one foul.
David's close to that line. If he gets one of those one-hoppers, that's a step on third, go to first kind of play. You know, when you look at the outfield arms, Granderson in left field, it's a better place for him. It's a shorter throw to the plate. Bobby Abreu, in his day, had a great arm, and Lagares has the best arm of the lot. No assists, but the best arm of the lot.
Nobody runs on. 1-2 to Sanchez. All the way. Getting all of Nice's best offerings and hanging in there. Never seems to be an easy out.
Gabby must have a secret place he eats in Manhattan or something that produces all these good swings, tough at bats, and hits.
Had 10 RBIs for the season coming into yesterday and had 2 huge ones. He's making Nice work his hardest. This will be the 9th pitch of the at bat coming up. Harrison at second, McCutchen at first, and 1 out. And that misses low and in. 2-2. This is very much like Duda's at bat in the last half inning against Volquez. Harrison walked, and with 1 out, McCutchen walked. And now Nice having a double of the time putting away Gabby Sanchez. 10th pitch coming up. And the curveball bends around the plate, 3-2.
Well, Recker's going to go out there because he's going to let Nice know what's going on. You might want to, as a pitcher, twirl and fake to second base just to give Harrison a thought that you might try to make a play back there, because if they're thinking of running here, Vic Black gets up in the Mets bullpen. You use the word often. Usually don't see that here. Down 2 runs, Sanchez up, but Harrison has enough speed to steal all on his own if he wanted to.
A little easier with a right-hand hitter up if that comes to pass. 3-2 to Sanchez, and he golfs one in the air to left. Granderson has it lined up, and that's the second out. So a long battle ends on the 11th pitch as Nice gets Sanchez on the fly ball to left.
Well, he went back to the cupboard. He went back inside to make sure he jammed Gabby Sanchez. Cutter, perfectly placed. I mean, that ball ends up about 3 inches inside. There's no way to hit that ball with any power. And if you do, Gary, it'll be foul anyway. So it rides up the bat and just a simple pop-up to Granderson. Right on the label. Hitters don't make a living when the ball hits the label.
Bat makers do.
That's right.
So 2 out and 2 on for Russell Martin, who's lined out into a double play and fouled out to first, 0 for 2. 2 on and 2 out. And the first pitch curve in for a strike. This has been Nice's hardest working inning. Another outstanding effort by a Mets starter. Mets got 6 2/3 scoreless out of DeGrom yesterday. Montero and Matsuzaka both pitched well Sunday. Ball and strike to Martin.
I was in and out of the game yesterday. Did I hear you drop a 122 on me at some point for Mr. DeGrom?
Most pitches thrown by a Mets starter this year. Mets were too short in the bullpen with Mejia and Daisuke unavailable. Terry really had no choice. And DeGrom acquitted himself quite nicely after some early stumbles. Now Nice trying to get out his biggest jam of the day. And this is inside a cutter, 2-1.
With Russell, you want to keep the ball down. Russell Martin's a high ball hitter, middle of the plate in.
This will be the 30th pitch of the inning. And that's off the plate, and now it's 3-1.
I like that pitch. I like that pitch. I thought that was a strike there. It might be the only pitch I've seen Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire, miss. I know it's not inside, but it's right down the middle, and it's got to have knees. Or it looks like it has knees for me.
Guess he had to call it low. It certainly wasn't outside. So a tough spot here for Nice. About to throw his 100th pitch of the day. Three-one to Martin. Too high, ball 4, and the bases are loaded. Third walk of the inning. Now the tying run moves to second. The go-ahead run is on base, and Starling Marte will bat. Vic Black, who just got back in black yesterday.
Well, the captain's going over, and I think that's important because after that last walk, you saw Jonathan hang his head a little bit, Gary. And you never want to have that kind of body language. Don't let the other team know that you walked them and you feel bad that you didn't make your pitch. Let them think that that's exactly what you wanted to do. You want to pitch this guy and get him out. I mean, your initial reaction is going to be to hang your head because you feel like you let that batter go, but never show it to the other team. Jonathan's too good for that.
Starling Marte fouls off the fastball. Marte is in a comebacker and lined out to right 0 for 2. Harrison now at third, McCutchen at second, Martin at first. It's been a laborious inning for John Neese. Shutout intact and trying to keep it that way. Marte takes the cutter in tight, 1-1. There's a strike. 1-2. He's trying to pull the escape action. Line base hit. Harrison is in. McCutchen coming home, and the Pirates tie the game. A 2-run single by Marte after 3 walks, and Pittsburgh gets even 2-2.
Well, it's the walks that killed Jonathan, and just one hanging curveball. Good hitting by Marte right back up the middle. Hit that ball in the center of the bat, and even with the charge by Lagares, there's no chance you're going to get McCutchen at home plate.
So that's going to be all for Neese. Mets will make a double switch. Derek Collins was hoping that Neese could find his way through the inning, but just as was the case in his last start, that late big hit against him ties up the ball game. Vic Black coming on for his season debut. Call to the bullpen brought to you by Audi, Truth in Engineering. after 5 scoreless innings. Unable to negotiate the 3rd time around the batting order.
Well, we were talking about it before, as John shakes his head. Remember, there's 4 or 5 outs that you have to get in the middle of a game or any part of any game to ensure that you have one of those real good outings, and John wasn't able to get that last one there to Marte.
Left him muttering to himself. Mets will make a double switch. Vic Black comes in for his season debut.
Well, you see the numbers, 42 days. He was outstanding with the Mets when he came up. 3-0, 3.5 ERA last season. Struggled in spring training, as we've talked about. Walks have been his Achilles heel, facing his old team.
Eric Campbell in to play first. He'll bat 9th as Duda comes out. Neil Walker the batter. 2-2 game in the 6th with 2 men on. And the first pitch way out of the strike zone for ball 1. Martin now the go-ahead run at second. Marte at first. The hit by Marte was only the Pirates' 3rd hit off Nice, but the walk set the table, and Marte cashed in. Vic Black is an electric fastball, but he has trouble throwing strikes.
You said you were talking to him the other day, and he said he's the one thing he has changed. He's gone back to a more wider athletic stance off in the stretch.
Well, they changed him last year when he was struggling with his control. Put his hands a little higher, his feet a little closer together. But when he was struggling earlier this year, he went back to what he'd been doing with his hands down. But now he's missed with his first 3 fastballs to Walker, and he's behind 3-0. Well, this is what we saw with Black in spring training. He was a lock to make the club when spring training began, and just pitched his way off the team, and really continued to struggle at Vegas, where he was walking almost a batter per inning, but having a little more success lately, and called up when Valverde got released. There's ball 4. The bases are loaded again. So Black comes in, his first batter of the season, and he walks him on 4 pitches. That's 4 walks in the inning. And now a chance for Clint Barmas with the bases loaded to give the Pirates the lead as David Wright comes in for some counsel.
Yeah, David working overtime today with the pitchers.
So Barmas will bat 1 for 2. Excuse me, it's going to be Ike Davis bat for Clint Barmas. So in a game-breaking position, Clint Hurdle goes to his bench and calls on the former Met Ike Davis, who was 0 for 2 in a walk in his return to Flushing yesterday.
0 for 2 with a Mets uniform in this kind of role. He did all right with the bases loaded.
He had a grand slam in this ballpark earlier this year as a pinch hitter to win a ball game. The thing about Ike, since the latter part of last year when he came back from the minors, he's been a very patient hitter, and if Black doesn't throw him strikes, he's not going to chase. So now bases loaded, 2 out in a tie game, and Black looking to find the range, facing Ike Davis, and Ike takes one down the middle for a strike. I wonder if Ike went for coffee this morning.
I heard that.
All fastballs from Vic, who since Saturday has gone from Las Vegas to New York. He was here for the doubleheader Sunday. Back to El Paso through Dallas, and then back to New York through Atlanta. That's just since Saturday.
Jeez.
Here's his first breaking ball, and a good one. 1 and 2.
Good call there by Rector, or shakeoff by Black. Sometimes to get your control going, you need to go to the breaking pitch. Good choice.
Nice down curveball.
Yep. Defense pretty straight up for the Mets. David's way off the line, but Carr's pretty shallow in center field.
1-2 from Black. Slap foul. 99 from Vic.
Like just staying in the at bat. pitcher's got to be prepared. If he does call that breaking ball, be prepared to keep that ball in front of him.
Martin the go-ahead run at third. 1-2 to Davis.
Struck him out of a curveball in the dirt. Rucker simply has to step on home plate, and the inning is over. So Black walks a batter, then strikes out a batter. Pirates tied up against Nice in the 6th. It's 2-2. But the Pirates do tie it up at 2 here. And, you know, Vic, interesting. He went down to AAA. Gary, you talked about it. He was really a lock to make the team and didn't. And he said, you know, I hurt my neck and I was out for 8 days. And at that point, it really gave me an opportunity to kind of sit and mentally say, all right, hey, you're not in the big leagues. You're here. Vegas is your team. Let's go. This is your team right now. Let's go out and go. He said, you know, I think before that, too, I was thinking so much about the walk. And, hey, walks are going to come. And I just got out and started to think about getting out, see if the walks will correct themselves. Vic's also a little bit of a different bird, guys. He said one thing he does to relax before games, he plays what he calls super long toss. He stands on the foul line. Now, he didn't do it today, but in the minor league park, stands on the foul line and throws and tries to hit the scoreboard on the other side of the field. He says he does it every time. So super long toss gets a super strikeout. Gary, back to you.
How many feet do we figure this super long toss is? 350?
Yeah, I was going to say 300 at least.
It's a little unusual. So Jordy Mercer in to play shortstop, batting 9th. The new pitcher, Jean-Marc Gomez, will hit 8th for the Pirates.
Well, we saw Gomez make a start against the Mets last season. He is a sinker ball specialist, sinker slider. Little problem, though. Last year, he gave up 6 home runs in 80 innings. That's very good. He's given up 6 home runs already this season.
Yeah, that 6 last year was probably an aberration. The year before, he gave up 15 home runs in 90 innings. Eric Campbell batting 9th on deck. Tejada rifled a double off the fence in left center in the 4th inning and scored a run. He's also drawn a walk. Ruben 3 hits in his last 5 at bats and has contributed a sparkling defensive play tonight. Corners in against Ruben, who never bunts. 2 balls and a strike.
What are the advanced scouts doing? Are they getting Shake Shack when Tejada's up?
It's that perception of the middle infielder as being the speedy guy.
Okay. Which
he just isn't.
I have to tell my boy Eddie Lynch about that, so at least he'll get it right.
2-2 to Tejada. Who's Eddie scouting for?
I think Toronto, right?
That's don't play.
That's what I'm saying. I can do it. Toronto out to another big lead tonight.
looking for their 8th straight win. Sitting pretty up top the American League East. They score. They hit home runs.
The 1-2 punch of Edwin Encarnacion, who's having the Dominic Brown made this year, and Jose Bautista have combined for 27 home runs, and that's not including this game, folks, and 76 RBIs.
And
those two.
Encarnacion is another one tonight, his 16th, tying Nelson Cruz for the league lead. 3-2 to Tejada leading off in the home 6th. And Ruben bounces one toward third, a foul ball. Well, keep your fingers crossed, but it looks like the rain has taken a turn and it's going to stay away from us. Now that I've said that, it'll probably start pouring.
Exactly.
Try to provide up-to-date information. Gomez again with the 3-2, and Tejada walks. That's 6 walks issued by Pirate pitching tonight. Second time Tejada's walked. He's on base for the 3rd straight time. And Eric Campbell will get his first plate appearance. Campbell's last appearance was in the 2nd game of the doubleheader Sunday. He went 1 for 4. Getting a .333 in his brief major league career. He doesn't steal bases either.
Tejada, no, but they throw over. He knows how to get back.
He's a middle infielder. They figure he can run.
I'll tell you though, with I know the Mets don't do it. We always talk about it just because we want to see it when the first time it happens. 62% for Tejada. But Campbell would be a guy that you could hit and run with if you decided to.
It's good contact skills. Six-year-old Jean-Marc Gomez started his career with the Indians, 3 years with them, 2nd year with Pittsburgh. And it goes to the backstop off Martin's glove, and that'll get Tejada down to 2nd. It looked like a ball that Russell Martin should have had, but they're going to score a wild pitch nonetheless. The 3rd wild pitch by a Pirate pitcher in this game.
Well, that's a ball that certainly I've watched Russell Martin play a lot of games. He should get that, should be in the pocket. But it's a weird thing for catchers. You know, they're calling a breaking pitch first pitch from a pitcher, and they're just assuming that the pitcher has got it in his head, just throw it for a strike. It's not any big deal. Just roll it over here for a strike. But instead, Gomez throws his one that you would throw when you have 2 strikes.
So you're saying he might have been more prepared had it been a 2-strike slider.
Absolutely.
Corners are in now, thinking Campbell might be bunting. I think that's going to be happening in the 6th inning. And he swings and grounds one down to Sanchez, and Tejada did not break. And so he is still at 2nd base with 1 out.
Boy, that's you got to make him throw over, especially, I mean, everything working. Okay, you got a tie game, you got a guy working to hit the ball the other way, giving himself up for his ball club. You need to get the proper secondary lead, and you need to go. I don't see anything funny about it, but
well, they're feeling a little sheepish right now that he's not standing on 3rd base with that go-ahead run. We'll see if it costs the Mets. Lagares, the batter, with 1 out. And Juan takes a fastball strike. Lagares barely missed a 2-run homer his last time up.
Just a good team thing to do, Gary. You know, you got to be ready to go, because if a guy's going to give himself up, he wants to give himself up for a reason.
I just don't know what his read was there. It's not like it was a short hop. Ball hit the ground fairly close to home plate as Lagares chases a slider 0-2.
It's either ultra conservative baseball, or he wasn't ready to go. One or the other.
It's not like he thinks that Gabby Sanchez has a world-class arm. That ball's on the ground in the dirt.
Yeah, I just bad read or did not pick it up off the bat or something. Those things can happen.
0-2 to Lagares. And that gets away from Martin. So Tejada winds up at third base anyway. The fourth wild pitch charged to a Pirate pitcher today.
Martin's lateral movement in this game is not what you usually see from him.
Remember, he missed a month with a hamstring injury. So now the infield's going to come in. Go ahead run at third, 1 out. Justin Wilson up in the bullpen with Murphy on deck. Infield in for Lagares with Gomez ahead of the count, 1-2. Gomez is not a big strikeout pitcher. It's one of the drawbacks for this Pirates staff. They don't have a lot of strikeout arms. They're next to last in the National League in strikeouts.
The left-handers out of there are probably their best shots.
Well, Lagares trying to get that lead run in. Keeps the bat alive on that good sinker. Very good this year. 4 out of 5 getting that runner in from third. Walk and 2 wild pitches getting Tejada to third with 1 out. 2-2 from Gomez. And Lagares lays off the slider, 3-2.
We used to see Lagares in this situation looking up the middle or the right field.
Second time he's run a full count today. And he laces one into left from base hit, and the Mets go back in front. Juan Lagares with a 2-strike RBI hit, and the Mets lead it 3-2. Second RBI of the day for Lagares.
Well, you really have to appreciate the 2-strike hitting with Lagares. We've seen it now for what, 45 days? The ability to hit that pitch that's on the corner, slider 3-2, a little bit fooled, but still strong enough to dump it in the outfield. Big hit there for the Mets and Lagares.
Well, he almost had a home run his previous at bat. This time with a good 2-strike approach. Might have had a 3-hit day, but for McCutchen, it's brilliance. So now the Mets back in front. Here's Murphy. And he lines one over the glove of Sanchez and down the line. Lagares racing for third. Tejada makes the throw in. Lagares comes all the way home. 4-2 New York. Murphy with his second double of the night. And Lagares scoring all the way from first.
Boy, this was a pretty play to watch all the way around. First pitch hitting is Murph, down and in. Laces it down that right field line. Look at the secondary lead and the takeoff by Lagares. It hits awkward here and kind of sideswipes that right field barrier. And by the time it gets in, you'll see Lagares again. Good jump, cutting around second. And the thing about Tejada is he overthrows the cutoff man. It's fielded by Sanchez. By that time, we've talked about Lagares. He's one of the few Mets that gets more speed as he goes. Overthrows the cutoff man. Sanchez with the ball. No play.
So the Mets get 2 against the Pirate bullpen. Clint Hurdle will make a pitching change. So Gomez faced 4 batters, retired only 1 of them. They're going to bring the lefty in to face David Wright. You ever see this? Call to the bullpen brought to you by Audi. Truth in engineering. 4-2 Mets in the 6th. We'll be right back. what you never see a manager bring in a left-hander to face David Wright.
I think it really was that Clint Hurdle was just tired of watching Gomez pitch and said, I'm going to go to one of my dependable lefties. So Wilson, 6-1 last season.
21st outing for Justin Wilson. Murphy at second and 1 out. Mets have 2 runs home here in the 6th. And Wright, the best hitter in the National League against left-hand pitching, takes a strike. 0 for 3 today.
The 2 W left-handers. They had a great year last year. Tony Watson and here Justin Wilson.
David comes into the day hitting .458 against left-hand pitching. Facing a hard-throwing lefty in Wilson. And he grounds one past the mound. Mercer at shortstop throws him out as Murphy goes to third. So Wilson does get right out. 2 out of the inning. Now Granderson is 0 for 2 and a walk. A leadoff walk to Tejada, getting the Mets started at the bottom of the 6th after a leadoff walk to Harrison fueled the Pirates in the top of the 6th. When will those pitchers ever learn?
Granderson's first at bat, he fouled the curveball, walked in the second at bat, and again that foul tip that Martin held both times for the 2 strikeouts on Granderson.
Murphy at third and 2 out, and he takes a fastball strike. 1-1. Bobby Abreu would be next. Pirates 2 runs 3 hits. The Mets 4 runs and 6 hits. Strike 1 and 2.
Boy, that's a good one there, isn't it, Gary? Starts right at Granderson and bends over that outside corner.
Wilson was a big part of that very successful Pirate bullpen last year. They've been good this year, not as good. Of course, they lost Jason Grilli for a while. He's working his way back into the closer's role.
Let's face it, they were almost perfect last year.
Of course, they lost Grilli for a while last year, and they were able to survive that. Josh Edgen getting ready in the Mets bullpen. Pitcher spot 2 batters away. 2-2 to Granderson. Struck him out 3rd time. Curtis has been struck out tonight. So Wilson comes in and gets the job done, but the Mets get a couple of big hits. Juan Lagares puts it back in front and then races home from first on Murphy's double. 4-2 New York after 6. to Citi Field for a concert after the Mets Padres game Saturday, June 14th, as part of the Mets concert series presented by Dwayne Reed. Catch 50 Cent live in concert June 14th. Visit Mets.com/concerts. Well, the Mets now with the lead 4-2 as we go to the 7th. Jordy Mercer, who just came in on a double switch, will get his first turn at bat. Mercer's played most of the shortstop lately, but he has not been hitting. 0 for 3 yesterday, 0 for his last 16. Facing Vic Black, who came in the 6th inning, walked his first batter, but then struck out Ike Davis with the bases loaded to get the Mets out of a jam and keep it tied. And now Black is pitcher of record on the long side. Let's see if he can throw some more strikes. Mercer, then Josh Harrison and Jose Tabata for the Pirates in the 7th. Curveball misses. 2-0 to Mercer.
You know, there's different reasons guys throw walk people. Sometimes it's fear of the strike zone. Sometimes it's bad mechanics. I think with Vic Black, it's just because he is like max effort guy, you know, and he's letting it go, and it's going to be 96 plus, and let's hope it's in the square or in the rectangle.
What Vic says is, I'm an athlete who pitches, and he puts every bit of athletic ability into every pitch. Tejada moving to his left and makes another strong throw to get Mercer. This is as well as we have seen Ruben throw the ball maybe his entire career.
Well, I think it had to be a real shot at him to Gary, not only lose his position, but lose it to a guy who hadn't played shortstop for many seasons. You know, it's not only a swipe at his offense, but also his defense, and he's acted and responded accordingly with fine play.
There's Josh Harrison, 0 for 2 in a walk. He got that whole 6th inning mess started. The East walked 3 in that inning. Was on the verge of getting out of it, but gave up a 2-run hit to Marte to tie the game. Boy, you better stay loose in the batter's box if you're facing Vic Black. This is 98 and it could go anywhere.
I like the fear factor. Sure, the hitters don't.
It's great as long as you don't have to eat a bucket of worms. 2-0. Jose Tabata on deck. Harrison played right field last night, playing third base today. He's 0 for 7 in the series. Came in red hot. And Black gets a letter high strike. 1-2. 2-1. Time for our AT&T fan photo of the day. If you want to get your picture on, we suggest babies.
Yes, I see a theme.
Very, very nice. Love the miniature Mets gear.
You say no to the Twin Smiths.
Line center field. Lagares right there. Bullet off the bat of Harrison, an easy out. 2 away. Now Jose Tabata, 0 for 3 today. Tabata at one point looked like a rising star with the Pirates. This year has played a limited role, but you know what? He's 25 years old. Yeah. Been around for 5 years now.
Again, what?
Stay loose.
Didn't they give him a pretty good contract, or he was one of those guys they identified as going to be with the club for a while and locked him up for 4 or 5 years?
Yep. Slide behind again, 2-0. That pine tar has almost obliterated the P on his helmet. There's almost nothing left of it.
It's Manny Ramirez-like.
I mean, Manny the coach?
Yeah, Coach Manny.
Coach Manny. Do they have a scoreboard with a door in Iowa? Stepping out as he takes a strike. 2-1.
The guys just are not used to a guy being wild and up like this. 2-1 breaking ball.
Black working in back of John Neese, who went 5 2/3, allowed 2 runs, 3 hits, 4 walks, 2 strikeouts, no decision. There's a strike. 3-2.
Almost feels like Tejada doesn't want any part of this at bat, doesn't it? Glenn Fagan with the high strike call.
2 out and nobody on. 3-2 to Tejada. McCutchen on deck. Don't want to walk him. Is he throwing in the 7th? That's a little unusual.
That's right.
Henry Mejia, who's been closing games for the Mets, out there in the 7th inning. 3-2. Outside, ball 4, and McCutchen will come up as the tying run. Well, that's not exactly what Vic Black wanted to do. Now McCutchen came up as the tying run in the 6th and drew a walk.
Well, his first time up, I think he thought he hit a home run. Blasted this ball to right center, but Lagares made like Lagares, and then pulled this ball to David Wright. But that speed stopped it from being a double play. And then the good eye worked the walk-off Neese, where Neese walked 3 in the 6th inning.
There have been 12 walks in this game, 6 on each side. And McCutchen takes a fastball down the middle. Two years ago, Andrew McCutchen finished 3rd in the MVP balloting and then won it last year. Mejia throwing lightly, Edge and throwing with a little more purpose in that Mets pen. Maybe this is Mejia's dice game moment. Maybe he shot the hat off doing the early warm-up.
Well, I've noticed that when he saves the ball game, the hat comes off. Doffs his cap. So that's been his style so far.
He says he has no game plan for the post-game celebration. In other words, he hasn't created a specific dance move. It's just that he says he gets very emotional.
Well, of course. Why wouldn't you? I like it. I like emotion.
So I guess what I'm saying is that on any given day when he saves a game, you might see something a little different.
Oh, I see.
Until he refines whatever the routine will be. 2-1 to McCutchen. I had a good swing at that, and Recker got the mask knocked off.
Well, sometimes you'll see the elite players pick a pitch and try to go for it. And it looked like McCutchen did that there.
It was a serious swing.
Recker and Clint Fagan, the home plate umpire, having a laugh.
Tejada at first and 2 out. 2-2 from Black. And McCutchen slams it to right. Abreu won't get there. Plays it on a hop though. Tejada goes to 3rd. McCutchen has to hold it first. So now the tying run's on base, but a nice play by Abreu to keep that tying run out of scoring position.
Well, this ball is scalded. Top hand on top of it at 96 miles an hour. Shows you that the elite hitters, it doesn't matter how hard you throw, they turn it up a notch. And you're right, Gary. Nice job. Nice angle by Bobby. He got there and got it in very quickly to hold McCutchen to a single.
Dan Warthen will head back to the mound before Black works to Gabby Sanchez.
Figures Sanchez is up again, right?
Well, it looked like Neese had tiptoed out of trouble in the 6th when he confronted Sanchez through 11 pitches and got him to fly out, but he was unable to get the 3rd out. Black will face Sanchez with the tying runs on base. Well, you got Edgin throwing in the bullpen, but you have no left-hand hitters coming up. So that's strictly if they were to send up Pedro Alvarez as a pinch hitter that you would get Edgin in the game.
I mean, the way Henry's thrown, it just looks like he's just trying to get a little loose, you know, so that when he does get up, it won't take as many pitches.
Maybe to see if he's available tonight. That might be in question. If not, and now they'll get Carlos Torres up for real.
So Henry, go sit down.
Yeah, this is not his inning. But if Henry were not to be available, with Black already having been used, then Jerry's Familia would probably get the save call if there were one. Sanchez 1 for 2 and a walk tonight. 3 for 4 in this series. And a fastball strike. Sanchez got the start against the left-hander. Ike Davis has already been used as a pinch hitter, so Sanchez staying in there against the right-hander. Watch out for McCutchen. He's the tying run at first. He can steal a base. McCutchen 7 for 7 this year.
It tells me with that tremendous speed that he picks his places to steal bags where the team needs it most.
Strike to Gabby. Russell Martin would be next. One for Black, and the curveball bends in for a strike. That's a beauty. 1-2.
I don't remember his breaking ball being as good as this, Gary. Outstanding. Right on the Black. Perfect.
Per se.
Well, I can use it with Vic Black. Well, I'm going to use it. Too bad.
Black is black. Gutchen back safely. Two to Sanchez. Curveball, strike 3 call. Black gets himself out of another jam with a strikeout. Van Davis to end the 6th to strand 3. Gets Sanchez to stop the 7th. 4-2 New York. You can catch that game right here on Pix 11 New York. Line score brought to you by Chevrolet. Visit ChevyOffer.com. Mets at a 2-0 lead. Pirates tied it in the 6th. Mets got the lead right back, and Vic Black just secured it for another half. Now Bobby Abreu will lead off the home 7th against Justin Wilson. Abreu drove in the first run of the game with a base hit with 2 out in the 3rd. 1 for 2 and a walk today. Coming off back-to-back 2-hit games. Abreu now at an even 300 for the year. 12 for 40. This is the 8th game Bobby started. And it's a bit of irony here that Abreu is here after Dave Hudgens has been dismissed, because it was Hudgens who managed Abreu in winter ball in Venezuela this year and recommended Abreu to the Mets. He was convinced that Bobby could still hit. Turns out he was right.
Well, he's a walking machine. He has such a great eye. And this hit against the shift scores Murphy. This one topped and just barely out at first base with a hustle by Abreu.
Now Wilson ahead of the count, 1-2. Fly ball left center field. Marte back in the gap. And Abreu retired, 1 out. So 1 out of the home 7th. Now Chris Young will be a pinch hitter, batting for the pitcher, who's hitting in the 6th hole. Quite a job by Vic Black in his first outing of the year. First we saw Black, he walked Neil Walker on 4 pitches to load the bases. Then he struck out Ike Davis, got back into trouble in the 7th, and struck out Gabby Sanchez. So Black made his mark very quickly. Now Henry Mejia is up and throwing like he means it, so it looks like he's coming on to start the 8th. A little change in plan. Chris Young, the pinch hitter, takes ball 1. What do you make of this?
A 6-out save?
Wow. That would be asking a lot, wouldn't it? Young came up as a pinch hitter yesterday and lined out to short in his only at bat. Chris's struggles well documented.
He, of all the Mets, is going to benefit from just having a new voice, you know, rebooting, as they would say now.
Lamar Johnson in his first game as Mets hitting coach. Good breaking ball by Wilson to get ahead 1-2. Toronto's won that game. They beat Tampa Bay 9-6. That's 8 straight wins for the Blue Jays. They're now 9 games over 500. Young gets ahead of 1 and pulls a foul. Right over the banners. Eagles took out 69.
Where the banners used to be in the big shed and the outfield, right?
Corners.
On the corners?
Yeah, remember he had that little bit
of
their territory?
Right. That's right.
They've moved around a couple of times here. They used to be on the back fence. 1-2. Bounce foul.
But Kevin used to do his hit on like the Barco Lounger.
Oh, right, that little grassy hole on the corner. with the caveman, right?
Yeah.
One of the all-time SNY classics, Kevin and the Caveman. 1-2. Inside and low. 2-2 to Young. Wilson facing his 4th batter. He's retired the first 3. And make it 4 as he strikes out Young for the 2nd out. 2nd strikeout for Justin Wilson.
I'm just so impressed with the left-handers for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Great breaking ball there, down and in. And throws 95 miles an hour.
So the other lefty, Tony Watson, who may not throw quite as hard, maybe more like a 93 guy, but he threw a hitless inning yesterday. Here's Recker, 0 for 3 today. 2 strikeouts and a fly ball. So with Mejia looking like he's coming on to pitch the 8th, it's going to be fascinating to see how Terry Collins plays this game out with his pen.
I mean, when you think about it, I'm trying to think along with Terry. Mejia's your closer, okay? And he's your closer if he can pitch. We know he can't pitch, 3 days in a row yet, even though he's pitched twice in one day and twice in a row. So if he's your closer, he's getting 6 outs. That's where he's going.
Well, yesterday he brought in Valverde, trying for a 4-out save. He didn't get any before it got away.
So maybe
and then he got released.
Maybe he said, forget about the bridge. I'm going to get the guy to build it and be the bridge himself.
Well, I know he wanted to stay away from Familia today because Familia pitched in both games Sunday and pitched yesterday, even though it was only 1 batter.
Well, it's a day game tomorrow, so maybe you go for the 6-out save tonight with Henry, and he's completely off tomorrow.
And then Familia gets the crack tomorrow because it might have been Black otherwise, but Black was throwing a lot of pitches today.
It's fun trying to think along with Terry.
Sure. 1-2 to Recker, and he struck him out on the foul tip. So a very impressive outing for Justin Wilson. He faces 5, retires them all, and strikes out 3. So Mejia coming on to pitch the 8th with the Mets up 4-2. Stays in the game in left field. Curtis Granderson moves from left field to right field. And in what looks like a 6-out save situation, Henry Mejia comes on to pitch. While Mejia gets ready, let's go downstairs to Kevin Burkhardt. Kevin.
Vic, were you a little anxious to be back, that first batter there?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I was telling you a minute ago, in the bullpen, everything was on time, which felt good when I was going out there. But at the same time, when you step into an environment like this, everything's going to amp itself up naturally. So it's just getting back used to the adrenaline rush when you come from the bullpen to the field. And I think taking it down a step from the bullpen to when I come in will help even everything out.
How big was that curveball after that when I accept not even the one you struck him out, but that curveball for a strike to kind of get you back in it?
Huge. That's my go-to to keep me back. The glove pat's a big part of it, but if I don't have the breaking ball on time, then it's going to sail, which tells me the fastball is fast. So to be able to get the breaking ball over the plate and then throw the few to Ike, which is where I want to throw it on top of the plate, because it comes out like a fastball and it never makes it. And that's where I get the swing and misses on the dirt balls. But, yeah, the breaking ball is huge for me.
You said before the game, the walks, you talked a lot about that, but you said, you know what, I got to concentrate on getting outs.
Yeah.
How did that philosophy work for you tonight?
Huge. had a ball hit real well by Harrison to center field, and Juan pulled up for me big there to get that out. But, you know, getting the guy out at the plate's my focus. So, yeah, I walked the guy, but I can't focus on it.
Sure.
And I know there's plenty of people that would want to focus on it, but that's not how I think. It's one pitch at a time, one batter at a time, and that one's over. Got to start the new one.
Show the emotion. Before we let you go, you showed the emotion, the big strikeout, the curveball to Sanchez. Just for you, you came back and you warmed up in the pen the other day, didn't get in. To be back after you thought you'd be here, you know, to start the season. What did it feel like to be on the mound?
Oh man, the greatest thing ever. This is what I love. Throwing a baseball and pitching and getting guys out and competing for a team that's full of a bunch of guys that I love and being around, and that's the biggest part, is trying to get a victory, especially as with this team. It's huge.
Great job. Best of luck. Hopefully the Mets can finish this out and get the victory.
Absolutely.
All right, Vic. Vic Black, guys, gracious to join us. Let's go back upstairs.
All right, thanks, Kevin, and thanks, Vic. And, you know, we said this last year when Vic first came up. If he can ever harness it, he's got the stuff, the swagger, and the personality to be huge in this town.
I want to be on his team. Anyone who appreciates a dirt ball, you got to like that.
Russell Martin leading off in the 8th against Henry Mejia. And Martin takes an inside strike. Didn't think so. 1-2.
Now, I was thinking about this. If Mejia is going to go for a 6-out save, isn't it strange that this would be the perfect time for him to do it? Because you're trying to work him into pitching 3 days in a row, but he's still close enough to have started games that 2 innings is not a stretch. Do you know what I'm saying?
Curveball, strike 3 call. Got Martin looking. 1 down in the 8th.
Just perfect breaking ball. We've seen some good breaking balls from Vic Black and now Mejia in this 8th inning. You can see how he lets that go. The grip right along the seams, the rotation of the baseball, and fooling Martin.
You know, in some ways, think about it this way with Mejia. As Starling Marte steps in. Sunday, he pitched both ends of the doubleheader. Isn't pitching 2 innings about the same as that?
That's right.
Without the cooling off in between. On Sunday, he got the loss in the first game when Murphy made the error in the 9th, and he got the save in the second game. The last Met pitcher to get a loss and a save in the same day, Jesse Orozco, 1984.
J.O.
Marte has the biggest hit for the Pirates today. A bases loaded single in the 6th that knocked out John Neese and tied the game. Neese walked 3 in that 6th inning, got ahead in the count on Marte, but left a curveball in the middle of the plate. Marte stung it. And the Pirates got even. Mets got the lead the next half inning, and they've held it to here. Bounces that fastball 3-0. Neil Walker has got some power waiting on deck. There have already been 12 walks in this game. 13. So Mejia walks his second batter. Second batter he faces. First walk. Didn't want to mislead. Well, Terry's seen a lot of that, so has Clint Hurdle tonight. Nobody's been immune. And now Walker comes to the bat at the tying run. Walker drew the walk from Black when he came in. First batter he faced in the 6th. Walker's also struck out and was robbed of a hit on a tremendous play by Tejada in the 5th. So he's 0 for 2. Pitcher spot 2 up next for the Pirates. Pedro Alvarez out on deck to pinch hit.
It's the power side for Walker. Alvarez has tremendous power also.
Well, some home run bats to contend with for Mejia. Walker pulls one through the hole, a base hit. Marte going first to third. And again, the Pirates get the tying runs on base.
a fastball. It looked like right in the middle of the plate. Maybe a changeup, the way he pulled it in that hole. And we saw not only the avoiding of the ball by Marte, but he looked like a 440 track man running around the bases. Or 400 meters. We get current here. Must be one of Walker's big hits, maybe?
Well, they just took the ball out of play. I'm not sure why. Might have been Las Diaz who wanted it out of play. Anyway, here's Alvarez. First and third and one out. And half of Washington Heights must be here because they just started a big Pedro chant. Alvarez, big home run bat. And he swings and misses at the curveball. Alvarez had a nice day yesterday, a single and a double and a walk.
Well, he doesn't hit for much of an average, but when he makes connection, this guy can hit it as far as anyone in the game.
9 home runs, 27 RBIs after hitting 36 to lead the National League last year. Marte at third, Walker the tying run at first. And Alvarez swings and misses at a good sinker, and it's 0-2. Was it a changeup?
A changeup, Gary. So circle change after the good breaking ball.
So Mejia quickly ahead of Alvarez 0-2 with Jordy Mercer on deck. Teases him wide, 1-2. Well, if the goal is to get Mejia a 6-out save, the outs are not coming easily here in the 8th. That's got an 8-out save from Carlos Torres early in the year. 1-2. Breaking ball down. 2-2. As Mercer has had one at bat tonight, batting in the 9-hole. John Meese went 5 2/3, allowed 2 runs, 3 hits. Vic Black an inning and a third, no runs, 1 hit, and Mejia running into immediate trouble here in the 8th. First and third and 1 out. Two. Check swing. Did he go? The look down at third, and apparently no swing. Las Diaz was waiting to be asked, and they never asked.
Well, you know, it's interesting sometimes when you face a young hitter, which I believe Alvarez still is. Becker gets lucky there. He goes to try to trap the ball and ends up hitting him right in the chest protector.
Clearly no swing. So 3-2.
Alvarez used to always swing at those pitches. He doesn't as much anymore.
Well, you got to put Walker in motion here, right? Instead of the double play. Even though Alvarez is a strikeout threat.
I don't know if I'd start him. Alvarez just strikes out so often.
Not going. Double play ball. Tejada with the step and the fire. Side retired. Mejia gets the big ground ball. Hurdle decides not to put the runner in motion, and it pays for the Mets. 6-6-3 double play gets Mejia out of a jam in the 8th. Mejia loving what he's seeing. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Mets 4, Pirates 2. Honda. Start something special with a great deal on a Honda now at your Honda dealer. Small but lively crowd on a Tuesday night, fresh out of the Memorial Day holiday. Mets and Pirates playing game 2 of their series. Final game of the homestand tomorrow afternoon. Seton Hall's own Jason Grilli comes on to pitch. A former Pirate, now a Pirate.
Well, he was out for a while with the left oblique strain. Had 33 saves for the Buccos last season.
Last year became a closer for the first time at age 36. That doesn't happen very often. Ruben Tejada's had a good day, and he lines this one into right center field, and he's on base for the 4th time. McCutchen gets to it, and he holds Tejada to a single. Ruben's played some spectacular defense. He's got 2 walks, a double, and now a single.
Well, that's what you like to see from Ruben. He is a right center field hitter. When he is hitting well, drops this in between the outfielders. Tejada gives way to McCutchen, who holds Tejada for a single. Campbell will be asked to bunt here.
You think?
No, maybe not. Maybe not. 2-run lead, you might want to push it. I'm always thinking about adding on. You know, you have a guy doing something he hasn't done, trying to get a 6-out save.
Campbell grounded out in his only at bat. They're not looking for the bunt, and he's not bunting.
That's my bad there.
They must switch it off. I mean, as deep as Harrison is playing at third, he could bunt for a hit. Juan Lagares on deck. Campbell fouls back the fastball, 0-2.
I used to have a manager that I played for. When you're ahead like 2 runs in the 9th, he'd always say, let's play for 1. Maybe we'll get more, but let's play for 1 this inning. But you have a hot hitter, capable hitter. Mets going for more.
You know, 2-run lead with McCutchen due up 4th in the inning doesn't feel all that comfortable. Tejada at first with nobody out. Mets with their 7th hit of the night. You know, with the shortstop position for the Mets now seemingly a meritocracy.
Yeah.
Tejada had a run there when Flores got sick, where he was hot, stayed in the lineup for a week. Then Flores got another chance. Big night for Tejada tonight. I wonder if he's back in there tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that's, well, the day game, night game might change it up. Running.
Tejada runs and the pitch bounces, and Tejada has a rare stolen base. His first attempt of the season, and he picked the right pitch to run on.
Well, what was smart about that is that he anticipated after all those fastballs to Campbell that there had to be one breaking ball, and there it was by Grilli. Pretty lucky for Martin to backhand that ball. Talented to backhand that ball, but easily into second goes Tejada.
Ruben had 2 stolen bases last year. Most he's had in a big league season is 5, and that's his first of this year. So he's in scoring position with nobody out. What a big night for Tejada. 2 for 2, 2 walks, 2 runs scored, now a stolen base, and a highlight reel play in the field. They're playing very deep in the outfield, except for Tejada and Wright. And Campbell down on strikes for the first out. 10 strikeouts for Pittsburgh pitching tonight.
Fastball up in the eyes of Campbell. Can't lay off it. So I guess to answer your question, Gary, the meritocracy, this team is scuffling. Who's ever hot is playing. That's how it should work.
That's why you got a 40-year-old starting 3 straight games in right field.
And if you look tired and you had a tough day, then the other guy gets to play. That's how it should be right now.
Lagares has had a terrific day. Single and a double, 2 RBIs. Also was robbed of a hit on a fantastic play by McCutchen, and he robbed McCutchen himself of an extra base hit. One to Lagares with Murphy on deck. Good slider by Grilli, 0-2. Around the Majors brought to you by Hyundai. Visit buyhyundai.com. Mark Burley got plenty of offensive support. Now 9-1 as the Jays beat the Rays 9-6. Cole Hamels and Jorge De La Rosa tied 1-1. Darren Ruff a home run for the only Phillies run. And the Red Sox up 6-3 on the Braves in the ninth, trying to win their second straight after losing 10 in a row.
Hamels has pitched excellent since he left Citi Field here, throwing 130-something pitches.
He'll match up against Jonathan Neese again on Sunday in Philly. With a third head-to-head matchup. Oh-2 from Grilli. It's too high. Well, Jason Grilli, the once and future closer of the Pirates. Clint Hurley used him in a safe situation right when he came off the DL, and he will get that job back eventually, but for right now, Mark Melanson is the closer.
Well, they're still rounding him into shape, into game shape.
Tejada at second with one out. And Lagares with a check swing foul on the slider.
Really? And go ahead, Garrett. Sorry. I was just going to mention something. I feel bad now after interrupting you. Really's got some nice pair of shoes, doesn't he? I mean, those are some sharp. That's what you see in the NBA.
Pirate black and gold. Here's the 1-2. Couldn't get a bite on that slider. 2-2. Danny Murphy's had a nice day at the plate, waiting on deck. He's had a nice year at the plate. Really spent 5 weeks on the disabled list with that oblique injury before coming back last weekend. 2-2, and Lagares, pretty good swing at that, fouled off the fastball. You can follow every Mets game with MLB.com at bat on your favorite mobile phone or tablet. Get live look-ins, instant replays, scores, stats, audio, free MLB.tv game of the day, and more. Download on the App Store or visit Mets.com today. Seventh pitch of the at-bat coming from Grilli to Lagares. First a look over at Tejada.
Well, he's stolen a base now. It's official. They'll pinch the corners in every time. Throw over to first.
Now he's Frankie Tavares.
Yes.
You can only sneak him for so long. 2-2. Off the play with the fastball. Another long at bat for Lagares. Third time he's run a full count tonight. Talk about a guy who has grown up as a hitter.
His last at bat, 3-2 slider put in play for a single. Let's see if Grilli was watching, if he goes back to the slider here, 3-2. Or opts for another fastball.
Fouls off the fastball. Mets have had plenty of chances tonight. 3 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Lamar Johnson watching them for the first time. Getting his notebook filled. 3-2. Struck him out with a slider. So Grilli fans Lagares for the second out.
Well, sometimes you can have a good at bat, and this can be the result because the pitcher just makes the perfect pitch. Fastball away that he fouled off on a 3-2, and then a good slider.
So now Murphy, a pair of doubles tonight. One down the left field line and one down the right field line. He's scored one. He's driven one in. Hitting at .314 for the year now. Tejada at second and 2 out. 4-2 New York, last of the 8th. Looking ahead to the 9th, the Pirates will have 9, 1, and 2 in the order. That's Mercer, Harrison, and Tejada. And then if anybody gets on, McCutchen. They do have one left-hand hitter left on the bench, and that's Travis Snyder. And with nobody up in the bullpen, it will be Henry Mejia going for the 6-out save. Murphy swings through the fastball.
Murph's power is down and in. This one up and in. This one through.
Pulled foul. No, we saw that shot of Mejia in the dugout. For guys who are established closers, that time between the 8th and 9th when they're asked for more than 3 outs can be troublesome.
I think it's less troublesome from Henry because he started the season as a starter. I do find it interesting, though, that he starts the season as a part of this, Gary, and now he's a big part. It's a very interesting thing that's happened for Henry.
Sandy Alderson said it earlier today. Valverde and Farnsworth were brought here as stopgaps, and they knew all along that they were stopgaps.
Yeah.
Until folks from the Mets system were ready to rise, and as DeGrom and Montero rose into the rotation, Mejia in a way rose into the closer's role. Not necessarily what they expected, but that's the way it's worked out. Swing and a miss, and Grilly strikes out 3 in a row after the leadoff hit by Tejada. So now Mejia goes back out there looking for outs 4, 5, and 6. Mets up 4-2. Donalds, Vic Black getting 2 huge outs. Henry Mejia getting 2 huge outs on 1 batted ball. And Mejia back to the mound for the 9th. Gave up a walk and a single in the 8th, but got a double play ball to short circuit that. Now Travis Snyder will bat for Jordy Mercer. Now they've already used Clint Barmas, who started at shortstop, and Mercer, who is the regular shortstop. So I would imagine if the Pirates are able to tie this, they'd move Josh Harrison to shortstop.
I think Harrison goes to short. Walker stays at second. Russell Martin probably comes from behind the plate and goes to third base, and you bring in Chris Stewart to catch. They got to get to 44 if they're going to do that, though. Henry's got something to say about that.
Snyder appeared as a pinch hitter yesterday and drew a walk, and takes a first pitch strike from Mejia. Well, the Mets doing it in different fashion in their bullpen today. Vic Black an inning of third, and Mejia trying to go 2. And a good looking curveball in for a strike. 0-2 to Snyder. Harrison on deck, Tejada behind him. Both right-hand batters. And then if anybody gets on, last year's National League MVP Andrew McCutchen comes to bat. Pirates 2 runs 5 hits. The Mets 4 runs 7 hits. Quick pitch by Mejia. Ranging wide, Campbell can't find the handle, and Snyder is aboard.
Well, this is a little inexperience here because Murphy was playing Snyder to pull. So I think he makes this play pretty easily. See Murph where he's back there? Murph's got that ball in his back pocket. But you can't really fault aggressive play.
Campbell charged with an error. The Mets second of the night, and that gets the tying run to bat. Josh Harrison 0 for 3 and a walk. Hit the ball hard his last time up. Lined out to Lagares in center field. Nobody said it was going to be easy. Wright guarding the line at third against Harrison, who swings and misses at the cutter. 0-1. Mets don't often guard the line like that.
Been burnt a couple times. Maybe they're making a change. Henry's got that good pitch that goes away from the right-handers. They try to pull it. Becomes a ground ball pitch for him.
Now for the second straight batter, he gets ahead 0-2. There are even souvenirs for Pirate fans in Citi Field.
Well, hurt a little bit. Got some big mitts on him, that guy.
0-2 to Harrison. Couldn't get him to chase the slider. 1-2.
When Recker's at his best, I like how he just takes his glove out of play, kind of throws his body, hurls his body at that baseball.
It's a big body.
It is. It's like a refrigerator with a mask.
Snyder at first and nobody out. 4-2 New York, 9th inning. 1-2 for Mejia, and Harrison drives one to left. Young is there, awkwardly makes the grab for the first out. I don't know if that ball knuckled on Chris, but it was a difficult play for the first out.
Well, what happened on this is tremendous top hand, so the ball was sinking as it went and curving. And I think what happened to Chris, we always see balls that are this height, Gary, seem to get caught in the lights. Maybe he lost it for a second, but nice play.
Stayed right with it, kept his eye on it, and a hard first out. Now Tejada 0 for 3 and a walk tonight. 1 out and 1 on. And a breaking ball in for a strike. Again, Wright guarding the line at third, trying to keep that tying run out of scoring position. It's not like you're playing no doubles in the outfield, though. They're playing awfully shallow against Tejada. Slashed foul, and again Mejia gets ahead 0-2. Henry Mejia bidding for his 4th major league save and trying to do it in a little different style tonight. He's got 4 of the 6 outs he needs. 1-2 to Tejada. Andrew McCutchen looming on deck. One-two. Down the right field line. Over goes Granderson toward the sidewall. He makes the catch. What a play. Caught it in fair territory. Granderson right at the end of his glove for a big second out.
What a great play, not only to get there with the speed, but also you got to give your body up. There's not a lot of room past that foul line. Big league play there by Grandy.
Boy, the Mets have played some defense tonight. Lagares and Tejada, and now Granderson right on the pinky of the glove.
That's a fair ball, too. Let's look at Henry. Boy, that's 2 BBs by the Bucks.
So now the Pirates are down to their final line, and all that stands between Mejia and a save is the reigning National League most valuable player. McCutchen 1 for 3 and a walk tonight. And he takes a fastball strike. Now Henry letting it all hang out. He needs 6 outs. He's gotten 5.
And point to his head. Be smart.
McCutchen 0 for 2 in his career against Mejia. Slider off the plate, 1-1. Gabby Sanchez would be next.
David hugging that corner again. Hugging the foul line.
1-1. Another slider misses. 2-1 to McCutchen.
Some of the good players always seem so relaxed in the batter's box. That is amazing. I mean, this doesn't look any different than McCutchen's at bat in the first inning 18 hours ago.
Last time up, he got a 98-mile-an-hour fastball from Black and rifled one into right center for a hit. 2-1 from Mejia. And it misses outside. Now it's 3-1. So what do you do here? Do you keep the ball away from him same way, breaking ball, or do you challenge him?
His strength is good enough, and that strength is his cutter down and away. The pitch he threw for a first pitch strike is the pitch he wants to execute right now. Fastball away and keep it down.
It's 3-1 to Andrew McCutchen. And he walked him. And now the tying runs are on base, and Gabby Sanchez will be striding to the plate.
Well, it wasn't a pitch around, but it looked like it, didn't it? Didn't want any part of McCutchen.
Second walk given up by Mejia. 8 walks for Met pitching tonight. And now Sanchez, who's burned the Mets so many times, had a huge day off the bench yesterday, gets one more crack. 1 for 3 and a walk today. Black struck him out in a big spot to end the 7th, and now Mejia needs to get him to close out the night. Snyder and McCutchen, the base runners, with 2 out. 4-2 New York, 9th inning. And the curveball in for a strike.
Mejia was watching, right? Vic Black with the curveball to strike out Sanchez, and his last at bat gets another one. More of a slider.
Sanchez with 9 home runs against the Mets, matching his most against any team. Popped it up. It foul ground Campbell. Right near the sidewall. Can't get to it. Just beyond his reach.
Make sure he's all right. He hit that railing real hard.
Well, at least it didn't go flying in like Duda the other day.
Well, it's padded there, so that helps.
It's a little higher than that little low wall that Duda hit. Just out of his reach.
Whoa. Recker and Henry having a discussion. They want to be sure about this pitch.
Well, 4 of the 5 hitters in the inning. But he has been ahead 0-2. Got a smile on Duda watching another first baseman hit the wall.
He's taken a lot of curveballs for strikes. Bouncing a breaking ball is a good pitch here.
Pirates down to their final strike. Breaking ball misses. 1-2. Henry thought he might have had a foot away.
A lot of folks will say bouncing a pitch. This could move the runners into score. Well, that's not what you think. You trust your catcher can stop anything.
Snyder at second, McCutchen the tying run at first with 2 out. 1-2 to Gabby Sanchez. And Mejia and record need a conversation, and Tejada's going to join the discussion as well.
This is an important meeting for the catcher. The catcher has to make sure that the pitcher is 100% behind his pitch. It might not be the pitch that the catcher wants to call, but if a pitcher tells you this is what I'm feeling comfortable with, you got to go with it.
Tejada wanted to make sure he knew what the signs were. Mejia looking for that final strike. Two and two.
I'll tell you, Gabby Sanchez takes some kind of at-bats. Tough pitch to lay off on.
If he had these at-bats against every team, be an all-star.
Still be in Florida.
2 out, 2 on, 2-2 to Sanchez. Grounded toward the hole. Tejada goes to third. First play of the ball game is over. Henry Mejia with the 6-out save. Ruben Tejada, Juan Lagares, Curtis Granderson flashed leather all day long, and the Mets even up the series with the Pirates with a 4-2 win.
Well, what an outstanding job. First game for Lamar Johnson, the new hitting coach. Excellent, intelligent play here from Tejada to David, who got back to third base. Once he knew it was in the hole, all he had to do is beat Travis Snyder to the third base, and Tejada does with a little toss. 6-5 in your scorecard.
Ruben had as good a day as he's had all year for the Mets. Mejia gets 6 outs for his 4th save. Vic Black in his season debut gets a win, and the Mets get themselves a much-needed victory. 24 hours of conversation about anything but the play on the field, and the Mets did everything they needed to do to win tonight.
Interesting that Terry Collins decided, you know what, forget about the bridge. The bridge tonight is Henry, and Henry will be the closer also.
Game summary brought to you by Nissan. Shop ChooseNissan.com. Lagares a couple of RBIs. Tejada on base 4 times. Murphy with a couple of doubles and an RBI. And the Mets beat the Pirates tonight 4-2. We'll come back with more from Citi Field in just a moment.